am live. Technically, we're like 1 minute early, but I just did a reset because YouTube is yelling at me about the stuff. So, hello. Welcome to Failed Portrayal, kind of. No, that's way too loud. Hold on. That's right, I was watching YouTube videos at full blast. Sorry about that. It was way up because I was watching normal YouTube. But hello, chat, if you're here. It's just me right now. I suspect other people will dogpile in, but it's now 9. And YouTube was giving me shit about connections, so I fired it up. Here, we'll tab over to the regular screen so you can see my beautiful thumbnail. For a second there. Because tonight, we plan to do Gladiator Beast as soon as I have some people to do it with. But until then, I did joke. Ooh, it's very appropriate because Starlight, yeah. I did just joke to the guys that if nobody shows up, what I'm just going to do until people show up is I'm going to talk for about an hour about how god-awful Dream Mirror is. Let me start by prefacing, on the one hand, I'm very, very glad that Master Duel added a solo mode on Dream Mirror, because that means that now, on Failed Portrayal, we will eventually talk in depth about how much Dream Mirror sucks. And it does suck. I'm sorry. If Dream Mirror is your favorite archetype, take it from me. I play Red Eyes on Dragon Maid Pure, though admittedly with Master Duel, the OCG format Dragon Maid gets Max C, so that's not as bad. But I play well, I shouldn't shit talk Live Twin either. There's Axe, catapulting onto the scene.
I am sorry, I had to have dinner and then also clean a room.
It's all right. It's fine. I already prefaced what I'm going to do to wait for people. I'm in the middle of my spiel about...
Tell me about Dream Mirror, because I'm actually curious. I forget how they actually play. So...
Well, yeah, so I was just about to say, though, I should finish my thought when you busted in. I was going to shit-talk my own love of Live Twin, but Live Twin did get me to Platinum, so... I don't know if we can say that's awful. Well, once you have access to the Trouble Sunny side of the deck, it functions. And I will argue, Dream Mirror also functions, but as Max brought up, if you don't remember how Dream Mirror works, the main reason why I don't think Dream Mirror is very good is because it's one of those decks that has a really neat, unique niche that gives it some very terrible failure points. So the way Dream Mirror works is you have 2 field spells, Joy and Terror, and your actual Dream Mirror monsters are basically light and dark clones of each other, so you'll have,
Dream
like...
and Nightmare, gotcha.
Yeah, you'll have, like, a level 1 Dream Mirror of light. Okay, Lost saying you'll be here soon. Who's, like, 0 attack, 100 defense, and then the dark version will be 100 attack, 0 defense, etc., etc. And depending on which field spell you have out, you can usually cycle the other ones. So, for instance, if you have a light-type monster on the field, but the dark field spell Terror up, you can, during either main or battle phase, sack your light monster to bring out the dark monster. And almost all of them have, if this card was special summoned by a Dream Mirror effect, do a thing, you know? The main problem here is, that means you're reliant on getting field spells on the board to stick and getting the correct field spell for your correct monster. Now, in every end phase, you can banish whatever field spell you have currently to switch to the other one, so you have a built-in swap, but only in certain phases. And so, normally, Dream Mirror decks fold really terribly if your opponent just plays any kind of back row removal, or just in general, you know, they die to monster negates pretty hard. So, it's not a great deck archetype. It will be a pleasure to talk about them in Failed Portrayal eventually.
Because I wonder if they have probably some cool aesthetic, but probably not.
Yes, they actually, I think they do have a couple of interesting designs.
They sound like they're trying a thing, but it's too fair for what it needs to do.
Yes, they definitely suffer from... Well, they're a TCG original archetype, I believe. And for some reason, when the OCG got a hold of them, they didn't, you know, blow out their fucking back, you know, turning them into super roided out monsters like they did with so many other archetypes, like BA.
It's so weird. I'm thinking about...
Beatrice is a big one, but there's been a couple of others.
Right. No, I remember you bringing up. You bring up where you played through some of them, and I think
Oh, yeah, I've beaten the solo.
Literally, they gave you a searcher that had no targets.
Oh, no. They didn't give me a searcher that had no targets. Okay, let me explain why the solo mode sucks. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's very short. The main reason why it sucks is it's just boring and uninteresting. You play one mirror match, Dream Mirror versus Dream Mirror. It's laughably easy. Yeah, if you field barrier them, I think they just die. They do have a very funny trap card because they don't care who has the Dream Mirror field spell up. They have a trap card to literally put one in your opponent's field spell zone and the other in yours. But unlike set rotation, it doesn't block your opponent from continuing to just play field spells, so it's still really easy to blast yourself.
So this is a weird opinion, but I feel like it's I'm gonna say obviously it reminds me of a mechanic in Magic where you just take a card and you flip it over and it transforms into a same card, but that is different. And I feel like if they had a version of that,
yeah,
cards,
honestly, if Yu-Gi-Oh
way more.
Yeah, if Yu-Gi-Oh could get away with double-sided cards, that would be much better than what they did. But anyway, so there's the regular mirror match one, pretty typical, and then there's 2 challenge gates, and these are just sad. So the first one. And by the way, these difficulties are completely out of order. They say the second one is 5-star. I mean, no, some of them are actually, like, even if they're your opponents, right? Like, sometimes I feel like the extra duels are unfair because the opponent's deck is so much cooler than yours, but this one's not really that. They're both really boring, right? So the first match is you are playing, and this is the part that made me fucking tweet at 3:30 in the morning. This is how mad I was. Yes, I know you did. I saw that you hearted it. They make you play Despia Dream Mirror, and it's awful. Because the opponent is playing Melodious Dream Mirror, which is another like weird fusion deck. But also just because of the way Melodious works, sometimes they just get to summon 2/4s and do rank 4 shit and make Ragna 0. And because you have no pops, there is a continuous field spell that attack modulates. If you have Joy out, it gives you all your monsters, not just all your Dream Mirrors, all your monsters, 500 attack. And if you have Terror out, it makes all your opponents lose 500 attack. Hey, guess what? Despia doesn't defeat a Ragna 0 if all their monsters are plus 500 attack and all your monsters are minus 500 attack. You literally do not out that board ever. And unfortunately, they did a very dumb thing. See, to me, Branded Despia is very good because you can play Super Poly and you can play Albaz, who is Super Poly on legs. They give you 3 Albaz in this deck. There are no, or at least I didn't see them. I think it is all Despia monsters and the 3 copies of the 2 fusion monsters for Dream Mirror. There are no Albaz fusion targets. There are no monsters that require Albaz for fusing, which means Albaz is fucking useless in this deck. He's a literal dead card. The reason why you play Albaz is so you can normal or special him in Super Poly, because that's his effect, is when summoned, you can discard a card and fuse using materials on the board. Literally Super Poly with legs.
You're supposed to splash him into, like, all of the story archetypes and so on.
Well, yeah, but also all of the fusions that are made from Albaz are stuff like, you know, a monster who's, you know, level 8 or higher, a monster who has 2,500 attack or more, an effect monster summoned this turn, etc., etc. So, without that, you just have dead weight, and this deck has, like, no way to pop back row. I think the only things you can do is you have 1 copy of a big Dream Mirror who, when summoned, pops 1 card. He is a level 8, and you have to summon him with the corresponding light level 8 guy. And you only have, like, 1 copy. So,
light level 8?
Well, there's some of the Dream Mirrors, like, you know, special summon a Dream Mirror from your hand, etc., etc. But yeah, it's really clunky. There is also one of the fusions that if you tribute a monster, pop it, which is their Dream Mirror's effect. But that still requires you to have a fusion and then have Dream Mirrors you can sack. Yes. Which, while your opponent is, like I said, just special summoning 2/4s, making Ragna 0, and just doing rank 4 plays. Literally just get 500 attack, do rank 4 plays. It sucked. It was awful. I didn't even beat that one with the actual Dream Mirror deck. I just played my Live Twin deck and just ate their lunch because that
you actually had something.
Yes, Live Twin's major resource loop is, oh, do you have a board? No, you don't. Playing Live Twin is all about surgical pops.
An archetype that relies on field spells. I think I'll stick with Malefics.
Yeah, no, Malefic at least is you
Or
get to make
I'll just play
huge
Mystic.
assholes.
I'll just play Mystic.
Also
I'll just
true.
be evil and play Mystic.
Not in
Blind
not in
Runic.
Master Duel at least, thank God.
Or I'll just play Runic.
And then the also not in
That's
Master
the
Duel
thing.
yet, thank God.
Fair.
I can't wait for that pack though. Give me after Live Twin, I'm gonna play the hell out of Labyrinth and Master Duel.
I don't know if
But so the final duel you do is just sad. They rank it as a 5-star difficulty. It's not. Your opponent is playing Dream Mirror, Earthbound, Earthbound Immortals plus Dream Mirror.
I mean, I can get that, but you don't
Oh,
run more than 2 Earth rounds ever.
Yeah, no. Okay, so like logically it makes sense because you have a field spell deck. So okay, you can cram Earthbounds in there.
Earthbound are so weird where they're not they're designed to be splashed into other decks.
Yeah,
Is what
that is their design philosophy. We've talked about that before. What you're playing, so it's not real. If it had just been Dream Mirror Chaos, that would have been okay. Dream Mirror is basically a Chaos deck. It's lights and darks. You could totally put a Chaos package in there. They don't
They
do
can
that.
have inherent chaos cards.
They
honestly.
make you play specifically, like Dark Daedalus and Light Ray Daedalus, and like
That's
Chaos
not
Daedalus.
helpful unless- That's
No.
more if you're committing to one thing.
Yeah, it's really weird. And those cards never come up. But you know what makes me fucking mad about that one? Because you're playing against Earthbound Immortals, they realize that if you don't have removal, you'll die. So they give you fucking Raigeki, Feather Duster, or Lightning Storm, all the staples, which are just absent from the Despia Dream Mirror deck. It's just... Somebody at Konami either thought Dream Mirror Despia was their pet deck, and it just isn't. It isn't your pet deck, my guy. It's terrible. Don't do that. If you unironically enjoy Dream Mirror Despia, I think you need to go on a list. But it's so poorly thought out, and I'm just like, oh my god. The lore is also very silly. It's just like, woo, dream world. Sometimes you have bad dreams, and sometimes you have good dreams.
Yeah.
It's not very interesting, but okay, we've got some people here. Still no sign of Dallas. I think he's dead.
Yeah,
I think we'll
I
be
think I
all
only won the Despia Dreamer because it gave me all the Despia stuff.
Yeah, I guess if you pull a hand of nothing but Despia, you could probably make that work.
I think it was like I did the Wayne. I think I turned the Ring to 0 into a 0 attack 1 monster because one of the Despia monsters does that.
Yes, Masquerade, I think.
Yeah.
But basically the Despia Dream Mirror deck is all about can you get to a good Despia monster before your opponent just sets up a board you are literally incapable of outing.
Yeah, and then I think the one against Earthbound one, never so many Earthbound. It was just like,
Oh yeah, no, they never get to an Earthbound.
yeah.
It's very silly. But yeah, okay. We're here today to talk about Gladiator Beasts.
What about something actually good?
Yeah. Let me actually check Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the providers of
As
Age.
as I think it was
comment.
talked about by Made Capital G, you talked about this being one of those like tier 0 decks between Dad and Teledad formats.
I could see that.
Because apparently this one was, I think, Control at first, and then it became a full-on deck.
Yeah, so, Gladiator Beasts, first of all, have an incredibly long tail of support. We are going to start in 2007, where, by the way, these were the signature cards of the Gladiators Assault set, and there were a fuck ton of them in that set. The last batch of Gladiator Beast support came out in Chaos Impact in 2019. These guys have existed for 10 years. And they have been meta-relevant off and on for about 4 of that. They first show up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks in 08 as a first place at Shonen Jump Minneapolis Championship. Their last top was in June 2014 in the Nationals in Bulgaria, where they also took first place. So, Glad Beasts have a very, very long shelf life. And honestly, even now, after their like 2019 support, they probably work as a rogue deck. There are just so many Glad Beasts out there and so many cards to support them that you can probably still clean up your locals with Glad Beasts if you want to. Now, they haven't had any new support in like 3 years, so they don't really have any new tips and tricks, so pure Glad Beasts are probably not going to make any top cuts at YCSs or regionals anytime soon. But still, they are a very solid, reliable deck that, again, has been getting steady support for about 10 years.
Yes.
And I could totally see that they may have been tier 0.
Chaos Impact?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I can totally see, though, the tier 0 possibility. There's so many of these in Canadian Nationals, U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, I think what knocked this thing off of the top slot was Teledad.
Yeah. So
Before it beat up normal Dad.
yeah, Glad Beasts could contest normal Dad decks, but once they got Teledad, shit got wild.
Yeah.
So Glad Beasts, Gladial Beast in the OCG, but Gladiator Beast in the TCG, sometimes abbreviated GB. They have a very particular gameplay style. So basically, all the Glad Beasts, well, almost all of them, I think a couple of them have some weird stuff, but generally, if a Glad Beast battles at the end of the battle phase, it can shuffle itself back into the deck to pull a new monster out of your deck. Usually they call this tagging out.
I was going
And
to say it.
yeah.
It's attacking it.
And when your Gladiator Beast monsters are summoned this way, they usually have a special effect that triggers. Some of these are very basic. There are a couple that gain, attack or defense when specialed. Some of these are very powerful. Pop a spell, pop a monster, search, whatever, etc. Revive from graveyard. So there's a lot of complexities here. Glad Beasts are also not the first, but certainly one of the best archetypes to include contact fusion. I believe all of their fusion monsters don't require poly, and what you do is you just shuffle the materials back to your deck. So they are a very recycling-heavy deck. Lots of longevity. All right, so I'm going to start going through my list. Also, you guys get to enjoy Omega's lovely ability to pronounce things that are in Latin and or Greek. Our first one is very easy. Also, as usual, I have corralled this in terms of generally waves of support. It's not strictly chronological, but we'll be looking at, the first block in Gladiator's Assault, the second block that came out a few months later. I don't remember exactly which set that was, but it was there. And then, the couple of times they got legacy support, like in the Xyz and Pendulum era. Almost forgot my words there for a second. And then the Link era support they got, which was actually quite a bit. But our first subject today is very simple. It's Gladiator Beast Alexander. Very easy to say, very easy to look at. He's a lion man. He has laser beam claw wings.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys say some things because I gotta grab my water.
Yeah.
Lion Man. Yeah.
I don't think he fits his...
Why does it feel like he stole elemental hero parts?
I don't think he's good as the first showing of the archetype, honestly.
This honestly looks like a mix between Thundercats and fucking Saint Seiya.
True.
Actually,
I'm
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm back.
Yeah, some of the armor parts, as I already said before, it looks like stole from elemental heroes. Which one was this? Blade Edge, I think that sword looks like.
Kinda. It just... Also, I don't think it's a good showing of the rest of the aesthetic of the archetype.
Yes, Blade Edge, who we killed off in our own betrayal.
The way that...
Sorry about that, guys. It was-
He walks on his ankles.
He does have some orbs. He's got some orbs. Also, sorry about that. I was briefly distracted by how greasy my headphones were. Wash these off. Yeah. He does have some orbs. He's got some orbs in his wings and on his ankles. They're most... at least we can say, he's called a gladiator beast. We understand from their lore that these guys are kind of supposed to be actual gladiatorial fighters. So I can understand, like, the decorative element. It's a little goofy, though. His proportionality is kind of weird. He's got muscles on muscles on muscles. But it's not terrifyingly offensive, you know?
I think the glowing bits.
Rob Liefeld
Aren't
looking
just-
abs.
Yeah.
I just think the. I guess how to put it. I just think like the glowing bits is not really like a good show of the rest of the bits, but or the rest of
Yeah, the
art.
fact that he has laser claw wings, it's a little...
But
I don't think
he's
they
meant to be-
really...
He's one of their enders, so like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's supposed to be big and shiny and impressive. Hence, you know, all the gold. And the gold and green doesn't really... And it's kind of orangey in some tones, too. But that doesn't really clash, so that's okay. He's got a very natural lion color. Gladiator beasts are often, you know, associated with a specific beast-type animal, and then some kind of vaguely classical-era history concept. Alexander, obviously, probably is in Alexander the Great in this case, because he is, you know, like Axe said, one of their early finishers. But I do think, especially with other cards we'll see later, like I will actually talk about GB Hunter later, I think these guys are supposed to be like, you know, gene-warped techno blood sports of the future past, maybe? So,
of
yeah.
an era long ago, yeah.
Yeah, he's got laser claws. Sure, it's fine. But yeah, let's not... We got a lot to go through. Let's not pick on Alexander too long. So, Gladiator Beast Alexander is a light beast-type monster. Glad Beasts, by the way, I believe are all the fucking types. Like, they're usually what we now would call the Tri-Brigade Triangle, Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast, but they can be any old thing. So Alexander is a beast. He is light. He is level 6, 2400 attack, 600 defense. This card cannot be special summoned except by the effect of Gladiator Beast Dimikari. If this card was special summoned, it is unaffected by the effects of spell cards. At the end of the battle phase of this card attacked or was attacked, you can return it to your deck to special summon a Glad Beast monster except Alexander. So, obviously, the idea here is you would play a Dimikari and then go into Alexander, and then he's unaffected. That's pretty cool. He has a stat line that contests monarchs. But in general, I feel like, and a lot of people will probably agree, he's a little bit of a lackluster payoff to the deck because he can only be funneled through a specific Glad Beast. So it's a little slow. Only being unaffected by spell cards is cool, but not the strongest effect in this time period, especially considering he doesn't have the craziest of attack pools, but a decent start to bosses in this archetype. And we will see Dimikari very soon. But not next, because letters. I got a slight internal chuckle on this next one. This next one is Gladiator Beast Bestiari. He is a bird.
He's a bird man.
Yeah, bird. Guess by this like probably hawk or eagle. I mean, probably.
Definitely something predatory.
Yeah. So red and so mutants are gray colors with green and red.
Yeah. The color scheme, I think, is good. He's got a couple of greens that kind of work pretty well. You know, his armor and skin tone are different, and the red is a good flare. They're not quite Konami orbs, but he has some extra weird ball insets, including in the top of his hat, which makes it look like he just has a weird fish face hat to me.
Yeah.
But, you know. Also, the harpoon shoulders are a little doofy, but
I never noticed that till now.
yeah, no. Well, it's because they're you kind of lose them in his wings. But chat, in case you don't see what I'm talking about, he's got 4-way like harpoon heads on his shoulders that are kind of blending in with his wings.
I guess it's the whole thing of like this entire thing's a wingsuit, so it's like he flies up and then it's like it's 3 directions. Like,
Yeah. And if you were curious, the Bestiari are the class of gladiators who fight animals. So if you, for instance, fought lions in an arena, you would be in the bestiari.
Okay, so right, this was the only gladiator beast that was limited.
Yes, he is a pretty good one.
Yeah, I think he's the spell trap popping one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything else to say about, this feathered Chad of a man?
Huh. It's a very weird mix of like futuristic, classical. Is it all like the
Yeah.
tubing and like?
We're gonna
oriented?
see that a lot, yeah. Like, I'll say this: Gladiator Beasts overall, they definitely give me mid to late '90s cartoon vibes. Like, I could imagine the Gladiator Beast cartoon show on, Fox or WB on Saturday morning.
And then like 5
Yeah.
years later, it gets a really dark Adult Swim,
Give it
Yeah.
the same feeling as like SWAT cats.
where it's like actually with like
Yeah.
things get
Mods,
cutting in half and ripping out skulls.
Street shots.
Yeah, no, just like these guys are clearly some cartoon executive's excuse to like sell 9 million action figures because oh my god, there's so many Glad Beasts, guys, holy shit.
And then it has a resurgence where it's actually like fucking brutal.
Yeah, and then it just like it ingrains yourself in your psyche, and like 10 years later, there's a really dark reboot for adults because they have all the money now. But yeah, Bestiari, he's a very solid one. He is a wind wing beast, pretty easy to tell. Level 4, so this one's normal summonable. It's not 500, 1500 attack. 500, 1000 attack. That's grammatically correct, I'm sure, in some language. 800 defense. Generally, Glad Beasts are usually stronger on one stat than the other. If this card is special summoned by a Gladiator Beast monster, target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. And then at the end of the battle phase, it can swap out. So Bestiari is a very potent card. Very good at eliminating, your opponent's back row, working through a couple of their tips and tricks, giving you some stuff. Very solid boy. And honestly, like I said, like now in my modern sensibility, parts of this guy are a little silly. Like his extra feather bits are a little goofy, and his like arm guns, the harpoons are very goofus. But if I was like 8, I would be all over this kind of stuff. Dude, he has harpoons for shoulders. Like it's got those vibes. And our next one though.
Kind of wish they were in one of the animations so we could see what they did.
They do show up actually. They are used in Arc V,
Oh, of course.
which I believe explains a handful of their
If I remember
Pendulum Era support.
correctly, they're used by a one-shot character, or just a.
according to the
Till
wiki, I think they're
did
used
not
by a
even
couple of
matter.
minor characters. It says
This
used
is-
by Battle Beast and Sanders in Arc V.
Yeah, Bell Beast was the guy controlled by Sanders, who was this tamer person, so hence why there's the Gladiator Beast tamer editor.
Wow, they took a long time for that one to come around. Okay, all right. So, y'all. Oop, I still have my pencil tool out. Trying to draw squares here. Gladiator Beast Dimikari. Put me dukes.
It's a punch and bowl with. I didn't know he had funnels.
Yeah, he's got some fin funnel action. He's got some extra rocket boosters.
Looked like he's about to use Mantis style.
I would also say,
Actually, yeah.
technically, this is a Cape Buffalo.
It's also interesting that like I don't even know what like his arm things do besides add weight and I guess have this like claws at the tip.
Yeah, no, they've got claws. They're
I guess
weighted
they're arm
gauntlets. They're
guards,
punching,
I
yeah.
guess?
I
You know.
can't handle the floating circle options behind him. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yes, his
All
tech
this for?
greebles are very silly because he's just got rocket boosters glued to his ass for some reason. I don't
Honestly,
know why.
this now reminds me of. It's now hit me. These old post-apocalyptic comic series about basically like post-apocalyptic cave, like our Tarzan people, and this reminds me of like those like ascended animal people that run.
There's also some. I don't actually know what it was, but there was a official Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role-playing game. It very much had this aesthetic. Also, strictly speaking, this is just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle aesthetic.
It is honestly.
Oh my god, it's time for futuristic bebop and rocksteady.
And so, while I believe Dimikari is the correct Latinate pronunciation, this actually comes from a Greek word, which is Dimikarius. That means 2 knives. So, guys, art designer, you fucked it up a little. The Dimikarius is a gladiator who fights with 2 swords. This is not that. Though he does have 2 punch gloves, but just not quite right. So Dimikari is a beast. He is level 4 Earth, 1600 attack, 1200 defense. If he was summoned, special summoned, he can attack twice each battle phase. So, again, this is why Alexander was kind of mid as a boss monster. You can only summon him with Dimikari. Dimikari gets to attack twice, but he's only got 1600 attack, so it's not a really great trade-off. But definitely has, you know, some uses there. And at least in the first wave of support, he's got, you know, a body, a stat line.
Yeah.
All right. Now for this next one, we have to make a specific joke, or Dallas, wherever he is, will be sad.
I mean, he can also just show up, but I know he can't right now because like things beyond his circumstances.
At least I'm pretty sure. That or he fell asleep playing Steam. I did see him play Steam earlier. All right, but it's time for Hippopotamus. His lyrics are bottomless. Gladiator Beast, Hoplomus.
That's why I remember because he originally started doing the joke when we did this guy. I just don't know whether.
When he played him in Prague,
Right.
Yeah,
and then it just
yeah.
stuck. That and Jizzers.
Oh,
Oh my
he's
God, Dallas is
typing.
typing. Did we summon him with Hoplomus? Hippopotamus?
Something rhymes or bombs.
No, it's because like Loft called it out. Like,
Well, yeah,
20
but that was
minutes ago.
that was 15 minutes ago, though.
Yeah,
Actually, no, you're right. It is more like 20.
That was could just be slow.
While Dallas is typing, though, art-wise, actually, I think Hoplomus does this pretty good. So, yeah, he's got some weird shield mirrors around him, but they work.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, okay. Dallas cannot join us. Well, I said this earlier. I don't know if this is going to be all one episode. We might have to split this into 2. There's a lot of these guys.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah,
Maybe it's a quick
It's
best of.
Psychic Warrior Rhino.
yeah, he is a rhino, and continues our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle joke. But honestly, him being, like, obviously the tanky one, like, I think this is a pretty good armor design. It's, you know, body and all around. He's got big, you know, arm gauntlets. And he's got his little shield ring. But it doesn't look as jarring as some of the other weird tech bits have.
Yeah. It looks like it's actually there with a purpose.
Yeah. Any other things we want to comment about Haplomouse?
The only problem I have is that with the coloration of like the armor and the under armor, is that it all just looks like one giant skin tight suit, kinda, and it's weird.
Yeah, parts of it are a little body conforming. I like at least that they tried to get a little bit like the armor is more of an off-white ivory color, and then his actual body is very clearly
Got,
gray-ass rhino colors.
He's got like actual plate armor, and like he's got shield funnels, and
his
I don't know.
his position also looks like he's one of those football players.
He's also got like a really humped back because it's like you can see his back. It's like his back like really
Moth.
bulbous.
He's about ready to start doing a sprint moth.
Also, that
rhino.
and
UA.
He's gonna
also,
take it to the touchdown.
All right, this is our secret UA crossover card.
Right.
course.
What else? Also has yellow hands, those big hands.
It's true, his hands are very huge. The fact that he has giant cylindrical arm guards doesn't help. It makes his hands look huger somehow.
It does
Actually,
not.
wait, these are even bigger than yellow hands. I guess they're super yellow hands.
Now, so this is another fun one. This one's actually a good one. This comes from the Romanized term Hoplomachus, which is literally means armed fighter, but would be a person literally armed with, you know, armed guards, shin guards, etc., and usually like a shield and a spear or sword. So the armored guy makes sense.
I honestly thought you were about to say a guy armed with arms. He's just fighting people with just other arms.
No, but when we get if there is a Kestis fighter here, That is a punchman. So in
No,
case you
I
guys
mean, like,
can't
he's
tell,
literally
yeah, I
just
know.
using disembodied arms.
I know. No.
Okay.
We're not. I'm no longer doing my review of 8th MS Team, though. Gundam Info did post the entire thing subbed on YouTube, I believe, this week. So if y'all haven't seen it, check it out. So Hoplimus is a. This is, I think, next to Bestiari. This is probably our next really good Glad Beast. So Hoplimus, if it's special summoned, its defense becomes 2400. It is a Earth rock, by the way. Again, telling you that these guys are all different types of attributes. This is a rock, by the way, chat. He has 700 attack and 2100 defense normally, and then if special, he becomes 24. And then he has the if attacked or if attacked. So, Glad Beasts, you could very easily, back in the day, in 07, you could set this guy and pass because he is flipped face up by being attacked. And 2100 defense on a level 4 is a lot back in the day. You could be reasonably certain that he would live, and then you get to tag him out. But also, if you need to tag out to something defensive, you can swap to him, and he has a lot of defense. Very solid card. Obviously a little slow for, these days of Yu-Gi-Oh! But you gotta remember, this is all still the first wave of support in Gladiator Assault in 07. Alright. So, let us bring up the next one. Another very common one, and I'm very interested to see the Master Duel Gallery on this, because I believe this guy is a secret normally, so it's very hard to see what the okay. Alright. I regret this slightly. I will now give you my regrets. Behold, Gladiator Beast Laquari.
Okay.
So I have to look away for a moment to comprehend the depth of issue because there's a weird depth problem here.
Yes, he has speed lines and angles.
Not even that, it's more part of his body's outside the ring and outside under the ring, but it's hard to tell if it actually is at the same time.
Yeah, the perspective on his knee is very weird. So he has a flying ring of fire fin funnel thing that he is jumping through. He is jumping through his own ring of fire. Also, this man is a tiger, but he has a sword on his face.
He's got a horn helmet.
Yeah.
Or a horn mask, honestly.
Yeah. I don't...
Helmet horn.
We...
It's also, matching his funnels.
Yeah. This guy's made some decisions. Now... I just want to say, this term comes from Laquarius, literally to snare. It means a gladiator who uses a lasso or noose. So, using something to bind up. So, having a ring of fire, okay, kind of follows. Still not perfect.
It looks like the horn bits, or whatever they are coming out of the fucking fire, like they're connected to it.
Yeah, it is. Also, I feel like, look at how this one is shaped, and then look at how, this one looks like it's shaped. I don't think these are drawn uniformly.
Yeah. Also, if he's meant to be a tiger man or something, his feet look jank as all hell.
It's true. He has very weird, even if you solve the furry problem, because yes, this is a very furry archetype. Especially once we get to, once we get to the final solution for the furry problem. No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Why are we having this conversation?
We're not. That's why I cut off the joke halfway, because I know it's bad.
Yeah.
But once we get to the modern-ass Konami support, you will see Glad Beasts with tits.
Yeah,
There's a couple. But even if you account for the normal issues with anthropomorphizing animals, Loth is correct. There is something going on with his legs and feet that is not correct.
Yeah. Also, I don't think tigers are supposed to have a tuft on their tail.
You're right. He does have a tuft on his tail. He also has kind of like
tail.
He also has kind of like a long, mullet mane of hair.
So is he like a future? Is he a liger then?
He could be a liger.
I think he's
When did
more
Napoleon
like-
Dynamite
or
come
is
out?
it the
I think he's a
opposite
humanoid
one?
tiger is the thing. So he's
It's true. It could be his hair, but then why does he have a tail tuft? I also want to point out he is currently talking about how he once caught a fish this big, possibly in his fire net.
I thought he's more jumping for your jugular, honestly.
Yeah, kind of, though. I will say, the way he's got his hands, like, claws are tucked in, that's not a very good attacking pose.
I think it's a position just so the artist could show the claws without
True.
hiding the bracers.
But also, it could just be that he's trying really hard not to get his hands burned by his own ring of fire.
Yeah, I
That
thought he
too,
was
probably.
jumping
The Ring of
through his
Fire.
hula hoop.
And it's unfortunate, as usual, that Lucari is kind of a goober-looking one, because this is another mainstay of classic Glad Beasts. Gladiator Beast Lucari is a Fire Beast Warrior level 4. He has 1800 attack by default, so this is our first... Actually, no, second with Hoplimus. That's 2100 is really good, but our first really good default attacking stat. And if he is special summoned by a Glad Beast, his original attack becomes 2100, which also dodges certain kinds of removal there.
Yeah.
So this guy is 18 if you just normal him, which is pretty decent for an attack stat. And if you summon him out, he is the reverse of Hoplimus. He becomes a 2100 original attack. Very solid card ratio here.
Also, the original attack is also
Yeah.
weirdly more useful, actually, than some
Well, yeah,
pieces.
because that meshes better with certain kinds of spells and traps. All right. And now we're going to move on. I think we've trash-talked Lucari enough. Now, y'all are probably familiar with this one. As usual, it's always when they blow it up to size that I notice something I really wish I didn't. This is Gladiator Beast Murmillo.
Mellow. He's got his...
Oh, right, the
Why
fish
is he
one.
so slender? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
So,
it's,
I think you guys have noticed the thing that I noticed that I don't like. So
What's his weird
I thought that his body ended right there. Like, I thought he was like a manta ray man. No.
I didn't see it. No, I didn't do it. I just didn't know, like, his body literally went like a fucking... triangle, like a...
No. He's very skinny, and that continues to his legs. I didn't realize he's got skinny-ass legs going on there.
Sadly,
Yeah.
looking at this guy, the only thing I can think of is that one thing of like, would you fuck me? Fuck me.
He does have big lips. Now,
Like,
I will say...
those lips are so concerning.
The
got
tech
goblins
bit
in
he's
there.
got, like, the fact that he has these, like, conch shell water boosters, that I like. I like his
yeah.
turbines. Like,
Yes.
that's really cool.
His future parts
Yeah.
are cool. It's just his
Yeah.
flesh bits are
Yes,
weird.
Yeah.
the thing we have drawn here is very weird.
Feels
Also-
like there was one part drawn and they had to draw the rest.
Aside from the future bitch, this looks very much like a Gishki monster.
True.
Kind of.
You're not wrong. It's weird.
This Gishki gladiator piece.
Like, honestly, it
crossover
more feels like it's a
never.
Gishki at the post-apocalypse or something.
Murmillo or Murmillo, sometimes with the Y, are just kind of a class of gladiator. They did not necessarily have, like, a specific sort of weapons, per se. They had more of, like, a, strict collection of a lot of the classic looks. Like, they might have the
Also,
sword
a
and the
bit later,
shield.
we'll go back to his aesthetic
Yeah.
later.
They kind of have the belt look and the plumed hat. The unfortunate thing is, because Murmillo is less of an equipment set and more of... Well, actually, it's even more of an equipment set. It's not just you fight with a weapon. It's you have a very specific look. This guy doesn't really have that. Like, his head is a little shaped like the helmet, but he doesn't have, like, a big belt. He doesn't have, like, a sword or shield. It's a very weird pick. Also, as usual, Wikipedia is making some interesting assumptions. They're saying that he is a carp? I do not get carp from this.
I think it's the side bits to his face.
He is a load of
Guess
top.
he has some whiskers, though. Like, I wouldn't say that is, like, that's more of a catfish thing.
Yeah.
He's got some very big fins. But yeah, he's weird. I'm not happy about this. He's a weird one. Chad, are you happy about this?
I'm neutral.
Yeah. Apparently, hell, I guess carp do have whiskers, but they don't have as many as catfish, but yeah.
Chad, are you happy about this?
My only thing is burning. No, why'd you blow it up?
Chad, are you happy about this?
Blow it up even more.
I don't think you're gonna get. I don't think chat responds because chat is really afraid of saying things unless we call them out.
No, they're not.
I guess.
It's true, Magikarp does have whiskers.
Look, the catch. No.
I'm just gonna look away.
Okay. So what Murmillo does, Murmillo is a level 3 water fish. Duh. He has 800 attack and 400 defense. His stats are terrible, but you don't care because Murmillo is basically the opposite of Bestiari. If he is special summoned by a Glad Beast, you target a face-up monster and pop it. The main problem with Murmillo, like in later versions of the deck, is that without, like, additional special effects to tag them out, he's kind of very weak, which means you can't get the tag out effect, but he can be very, very strong in terms of dealing with monsters you can't normally get rid of. So he can be a tough boy.
Honestly, seeing all the comments in chat about Cop, I can totally see Magic Cop beating this guy up.
All right. So the next
I'll
one
say
on
it.
my list. Wow, you have
He's
another
splashing
big
his blood.
Their other big stupid asshole card. Because you thought Alexander wasn't enough. It's time for
like
Gladiator
several.
Beast Octavius.
It's an
What
eagle,
the
man.
fuck is that?
It's a bald eagle.
Oh, right. I don't care about those things.
Yeah, bald eagles
Yeah.
are just coward birds.
I don't get the back thing, but like the stuff on his wings is okay.
I thought that was
It's-
part of his staff he's wielding. His staff looks weird.
Yeah, he's got a
so-
big weird
Unless it's
ring
meant to be
staff.
a javelin.
I might be wrong, but I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's good either.
I think you can say it's pretty mid. Like, he does not at least have a lot of
It's
extraneous
okay.
details, other than he's got some weird muscle groups, but all of these guys have weird muscle groups. We talked about E-Heroes, which is also from this,
It's also I think
So-
I think it's just the muscle groups they give. Like I think it was just an era of drawings.
yeah.
It's so concerning seeing all like the muscle detail and feathers mixed together. It's
Yes,
ugh.
like, his legs are a little weird. His chest, like, has no feather detail, so it's fine. And then his, like, arms don't really. The main thing that I have, like, questions about is his weird saw blade staff thing. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't
What's
bet-
going
I
on
don't-
there?
I need a better sense of it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no. He's
It-
got a stick,
honestly-
so it's like a staff or something.
Also, I think
Honestly,
like his.
it could not be
No.
attached to the stick he's holding, but it just looks like it a little bit.
I mean, it's
I
got
get-
there's a ball at the end of the stick that looks like it lines up. I guess he
Well-
could be wearing like an iron halo, like that could be a thing. And then he's just got
Like
a weird
40K?
staff for no reason. I don't know.
What-
Also
I mean, it
this
goes with the
color
shoulder pad.
this color of green, I don't think really goes well with the like. I get kind of like dark purple and white coloration.
as someone who loves green, this is a bad green for this
Also,
character.
I don't know what like his like pelvic guard would be called, but like is it look like it wraps around to the back of him? I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's a belt, so like it's resting on his hips right now. Yes, he has a very pinchable waist. Call MBT, please call MBT. But yeah, I think it's all one solid piece. I don't know if it wraps under like kind of like a you know, like a set of underoos. Some like gladiator like loincloths and belts and you know, cod pieces do work like that, but. Yeah, it's weird.
You think his wings, or at least the armor on his wings, ever clips into the fucking spiky shoulder pads he has?
Oh, almost
They
assuredly.
look
Like
very
I don't
close
understand
together.
how this guy can move at all. Luckily, you don't run this guy.
Yeah.
Octavius is not good. So Gladiator Beast Octavius is a light winged beast. He is level 7. He has 2,500 attack and 1,200 defense. That's right. I think this is the same stats that fucking Summon Skull has, and he still requires 2 tributes. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Glad Beast monster, target a face-down spell or trap card in the spell trap card zone. Destroy that target. I gotta double check. I think he's got an errata for PCST there. At the end of your battle phase, you can swap him. So, yeah. Oh, no, he's got... It's right. It's worse, actually. If this card attacked or was attacked, shuffle this card into the deck or discard a card. So, yeah, you don't even get to tag out with him. He forces you to ditch a card or forcibly swap him for no gain.
Why?
Because I assume they thought, well, this is the big boss monster. You bring him out and then it's over. No.
But there's Alexander, which is more.
Yeah, no, it's bad. He only targets a face-down spell trap. You literally have a better monster that does that. and
Yeah.
he is a mandatory swap back. This is not a good card. And as such, you will almost never see him because he's really bad.
I really sometimes wonder how Konami tests their cards.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, some cards go through a process of, like, being anime adjacent. Worst comes to worst, whatever Konami's playtest sector is, because I'm pretty sure they don't do, like, open beta playtesting.
Nah.
That would probably be way too freaky of a QA. But whatever their closed playtest group is, there's no way it's as demented and unhinged as actual Yu-Gi-Oh players. So there's probably a lot of shit they just can't catch. But we're gonna move on to another guy. This one I think actually has a good look for being blown up. Loth mentioned Sewer Sharks earlier. This is
Street Sharks.
Right, Street Sharks. Yeah, Sewer Sharks was a video game, I think. Was it a TV show as well?
Which is funny, we never had Street Sharks over here. in
I don't know.
Australia.
This is Secutor. It's a pretty easy name to say, Secutor. It's another kind of, rough category of gladiator.
This one
Again,
feels like he was drawn by someone different.
yeah, definitely. I mean, at the very least, I feel like they did something different when they blew him up for Master Duel. Much like Murmillo, and yes, a Secutor is similar to a Murmillo, as a gladiator type. Hold on. Is there a literal translation? Yeah, chaser. So, I like his, amphora ass shoulder guns.
Yeah.
Like, they look like jars. That's cool. And in general, a lot of his design is pretty good. Like, some of it you can argue is a little goofy. Like, he has little horns on his hat, and he's got really big claws. But overall, Secutor has a fairly decent design.
Covered
Like,
materia slots.
Honestly,
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the Glad Beasts that we've seen so far, this guy looks the cutest
Yeah.
amongst all of them.
Honestly, I
I
feel
know,
like,
he's not
as
even
usual,
meant
I
to be
feel
there.
like somebody in the OCG department fucked this up a little. Because Secutor is also the name of a class of fish. This guy does not resemble a fish, nor does he resemble a Secutor-type gladiator.
He's more a Sahagin than anything.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be a lizardman. Please state your name, age, and occupation. Lizardman,
Trader.
lizardman, and lizardman. Love that bit.
Yeah.
We already made a Birdman joke. We got to get our Harvey Birdman jokes in. But yeah, Secutor, though, does have a fairly decent effect. The main problem is that this guy is a wind reptile, so he is not a fish. He is a reptile. He is a level 4, but he has 400 attack and 300 defense. If this card was special summoned by a Gladiator Beast monster, then at the end of any battle phase where this card attacked or was attacked, special summon 2 Gladiator Beast monsters from your deck except Secutor. So he just lets you fetch extra names. Obviously, a little hard to set up with his terrible stat line, but getting 2 free specials from deck, pretty good. And honestly, I think with, like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, this is almost worth it more to set up, like, Link plays in main phase 2 or something. Like, if you can figure out how to special him and then have him fight. There's some shit you can go out there. How many wind reptiles are there? I don't think there's a lot. That is a fairly rare set, and there is not an archetype for that, I don't think. But yeah, Secutor, decent card. Very good card art. All right. Now, this one, y'all are all going to get. You're all going to understand the reference here. But let me grab the next card art. Oh boy, I feel like I'm going to dread seeing this blown all the way up. Oh, yep. Yep.
Oh no, how bad is it?
It's not that bad, but there's a very specific part that gets me pretty good. This is Gladiator Beast. Spartacus. Sorry, I stared into his eyes, and I just entered the void.
Is this a dinosaur type?
I'm pretty sure he's a dino type, yeah.
It's
He is
just
definitely
weird-
is a dinosaur.
His head looks so tiny.
God, he looks like a weird mix between, like...
Yes, this is a dinosaur.
So, he's got, like, a weird magic turbine soul axe thing, and then but he
Yeah.
also reminds me... His armor looks like he's a Digimon.
You're right. This is very Digimon type design.
Yeah,
But it's like
this-
Digimon, but like photorealish.
Yeah, the thing this reminds me of is General Scales from Star Fox Adventure, the furry big game.
Yeah, I can see
No.
that.
No, what I'm gonna say is that this guy is Digimon at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like honestly, most of his design is okay. The main problem is the head. His head is too small, and it's just, what is this expression? What is this thing going on in his face? Like, he's kind of like eye narrow roaring, or is he just yawning at me? I don't know. It gives me weird vibes. And it's kind of a shame, because obviously, like I said, this is Spartacus referencing the famous slave revolt Spartacus. He's got a cool axe, I guess, though.
It looks like it's got like a soul gem in there.
Yeah, it's definitely got like a little thingy, little LED light. Very minimal number of orbs. I kind of like the bone element of it, though that does lend itself to the Digimon energy, as we say.
It's got a weird thing of being like, I wonder if like the thing in his X rotates or something.
Possibly. Unfortunately, this guy, basically, he's the other Alexander. So, you can tell that means that he's probably not really good. So, Spartacus is a Earth dinosaur, level 5, 2200 attack, 1600 defense. He can only be summoned by the effect of Hoplomos. When this card is special summoned, add a Gladiator Beast equip spell from your deck to your hand, and then at the end of the phase, you can do the tag out effect. So, decent, but the fact that it requires you to use Hoplomos to bring him out, probably not worth it. Though certainly Gladiator Beasts have a shitload of spell trap support we are probably not going to get into because there are so gosh darn many of them. We've been streaming for nearly an hour, and we are not quite all the way through the first wave of support.
There's just a lot of them. And like,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll probably not touch on their spell trap support. But yeah, Spartacus basically suffers from an early problem that a lot of Glad Beasts have, which is just they tried to limit them to like specific combos to tag in, and it's just not good. All right, now, are you ready for another goofus one? It's time for Gladiator Beast Thorax!
I forgot about him, but I vaguely recall him now. Yeah. Copperfish man.
Wait, hold on. I was about to say I don't find anything too upsetting, and then I looked at the back of his head.
So,
It's a pufferfish.
again, this guy screams 90s Savage Lands. X-Men trade villain.
Yeah. So this thorax comes from the name or thorax. Technically, there's no th in it. The actual one is Thrax or Thracian. Basically a gladiator armed in the style of the Thracian people. No, that's not just a Fire Emblem game name, guys.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, a kind of type that are out there. The interesting thing you might take away is that the Thracian style gladiator was supposed to basically play the bad guy role in gladiators. They played the type of gladiators who fought the Roman equipped ones.
They're big deals.
Yeah, basically. Because you know the Romans are going to root for the hometown guys. But yeah, this is just a weird fish guy. Possibly a freaky fish guy. I could see him being kind of cute. I don't really have anything, like, bad to say about it. I feel like he just says everything you need to know about him right on the tin there.
He's got ugly cuteness, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna try to do that.
Please
voice.
never
He has
make
poison
this noise
spit.
again.
Woo!
He
Almost
spits
killed
hot
myself.
poison.
No,
I
not
will
really,
murder
because
you.
his effect has nothing to do with any of that.
Oh.
This is a water fish, level 3, 1400 attack, 400 defense. You'd think they would have done that the other way around. If this card was special summoned by the effect of a gladiator beast, during the end of any battle phase in which this card attacked or was attacked, you can return it to the deck to draw one card. So I don't think that Thorax was ever super popular.
He's like Basically, if you have like 4 on board, he's like the cycle of cards to go into more.
Yeah, like he is a decent extender, and back in the day, being able to draw a card for whatever is good, but I suspect most Glad Beast players at the time would really prefer to just summon out whatever Glad Beast was better, like a Bestiaria Murmillo to pop, or go into like Hapamus to defend, Lucaria to get a bigger attack, etc. It's not a bad ability, I just think it doesn't have a lot of strong synergy at the time with the deck. So this is why you probably are not super familiar with him. And now we're going to talk about a couple of their fusion monsters, their first wave of fusions. Not the best, but extant. Hold on, was that just like a weird... Yeah. Okay. They're sourcing articles on like what these things represent is a little... goofus. Oh, no. God damn it.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. This is Gladiator Beast Gallo Diaz.
What the fuck am I? What is this face? It feels like they drew the face wrong.
Yes.
Tiny head, like this guy feels more like in like he would be more comfortable in a rock concert.
So, here's a question. This is Spartacus and anything else, right?
Yes. So him being a dinosaur makes sense. He looks a lot like a Spartacus on steroids.
Yeah, it looks like Spartacus that Digivolve.
But yes, that's why I said, oh god damn it. I looked at his head and I realized it looks like somebody, when they were drawing this in Photoshop or whatever, like, editorial was like, his T-Rex head is too big. But T-Rexes have huge heads. I don't care, his head is too big. Make it smaller. And the artist just, shrunk it down so much and just left it there. And the editor was like, that's fine. I don't care. Ship it.
Tiny head.
Yeah. His head is abysmally tiny.
Also, the angle's atrocious.
Yes. And the reason why that's hilarious is because I'm pretty sure this was drawn with a reference to, like, an actual T-Rex skull. Because, yeah, that looks a lot like, most depictions of a T-Rex at the time. Very much in the skull shape. So the artist probably had a reference. But it's so tiny and specific and weird. And, like... And that's just a tiny fraction of what's going on with this guy. Look at the rest of him. He's got,
his head looks like an emote.
Yes, his head does kind of look like a little emote. Like this is your Gallo champ.
Let's never say that again. Say if we didn't.
But like he's got 3 different colors of Konami orbs. He has some giant skeleton wing shit on his back. He's got floating knee shields. Like I think they're supposed to be hip shields, but they're at his knee height. Like,
I feel like this would be better if it was just like a 3D model, then the head would be a bit bigger. But otherwise, on a piece of art, I don't know what the fuck.
Maybe, but yeah, no, I don't know what was going on. He's got thumb rings. Why does he have thumb rings? Nothing against thumb ring. It's just weird. Yeah, this is a reverse. I have a big head, little arms.
Yeah. Master.
Yeah, no, this is just so goofy. I don't even know anymore. What have you, artist? What have you given me? Gallo Diaz, by the way, as in Gordius, as in possibly the Gordian knot. His name in Japanese is Gladial Beast Giordias. So yeah, Gallo Diaz is, or possibly meant to be more Gallo Diaz, but you pronounce all the syllables. So he is a dark dinosaur fusion. Level 7, 2600 attack, 1500 defense. He requires Spartacus and any 1 Glad Beast monster. Card enemy specials from your extra deck by returning the above cards you control to your deck. You do not use polymerization. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the defense, so kind of a reverse Flame Wingman type effect. At the end of the battle phase, if it was attacked, you can return it to the extra deck to special summon 2 Glad Beasts from your deck except Spartacus. So you can see how Gladiator Beast fusions got better, and in fact, the infamous Gyzarus is only 1 set away. Like, literally the next time they got support, they got the jizz. But there are some very strong limitations here. First of all, you have to bring out Spartacus, which is a level 5 that can only be specialed by a certain effect. And obviously, as Axe mentioned, kind of as an aside there, in the modern parlance, his effect is pretty bad because it only procs off defense. Hey, guess what? Link monsters don't have defense, so you take nothing. Dynamorphia is this concept, but way better.
It at least shows, like, their thing is, like, one of Viper's biggest thing is, like, their idea of tagging is, like, extra deck tagging out, which is contact fee.
Yeah, no, like,
or link summoning, which
this is, I think, like, it's a good setup, and he's got a decent stat line, 26. He's bigger than any of your main deck monsters. It's just, the limitations are a little strict, so it goes a little out of style. And obviously, as I brought up, the art is...
Yeah. I just noticed he's got a big fucking tail.
Now, he's got a really long tail. Now, their second fusion monster one is actually pretty good. So, this is Heraklinos. Or possibly Heraklinos, but I'll go with Heraklinos, obviously as in Heracles. This, again, in case you can't tell, is Laquari plus 2 Glad Beasts. So it requires a little extra setup because you need 3 monsters, but it definitely gives you those Laquari but big vibes. And Wikipedia says that he's kind of chimerical. I can see that because he's got, the Tiger Lion Man front, but he's got kind of like long tail when fins and like scaly legs, but purple arms. But his hands are still orange. I'm pretty sure it's Actually, is that Spartacus's axe again? I think it is.
It is actually, but I think a bit more.
Yeah, well, it's got
Wait.
Laquari's harpoons and wing shooters on there. So Laquari's, not Laquari, Bestiari's in there. Because it's got Bestiari's wings as well.
He's got the tiny lizard man's like little guns on the shield.
He does. So
Yeah,
he's actually got a
he's
lot
like
of.
a
He's got a lot of guys in him. It's interesting.
I guess he's like a merge. He's an actual.
Yeah, and look at his shoulders. They're not glowing, but he's got Alexander's wing things with the claws on his shoulder pads.
Yeah.
So yeah, this actually is good. There's a lot of subtle detail in Heraklinos. He's got a lot of elements from other Glad Beast guys. Like
Do you
I think
think
he's
it's
wearing all of
like-
their different armor stacked
Do
together.
you think it's like a merger, or do you think it's like him actually like wearing? all
It's
the
they
bits
combined
pieces?
all the Sentai guns together to make that one super gun.
I mean, he's given the scale of him, like what were the entire like length of Alexander's body are now small enough to fit in this guy's shoulders. He's obviously physically changed, like he's roided out. I don't know if
Maybe
that
it's
means that
like-
they like actually
Also,
fuse or they just like
A lot of let's see, the funnels are at the base of like, and the harpoons are the tips of like the axe.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
The Bestiari's bits there too.
yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. So I don't know if Heraklinos is supposed to just be like Laquari on steroids or if like for the final match they juiced up Laquari with all of the genes of all the other ones.
Actually, I think it might be that they made like a super gladiator by like merging
Yeah.
them all together because he also has Spartacus' tail.
Yeah, he's got a lot of elements. So Heraklinos is a big boy. He is a Fire Beast Warrior fusion, level 8, 3k attack, 2800 defense. So big stats on this guy. He is Laquari in any 2 Glad Beast monsters. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the above cards you control into the deck. Do not use polymerization. During either player's turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, discard 1 card, negate, and destroy. Must be face up on the field to activate
Weird
this effect.
question. How many? There were 9 labors, right? Of like Heracles.
No, 12 livers.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because I was just trying to think of like how many parts of them into this.
I mean, I can count how many Glad Beasts there were. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not counting Gaio Diaz. So, 10? 10 stacked?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's 12 levers. There's a lot of extra weird bullshit in there.
Yeah.
Not all of them correspond to zodiac signs, but there's some... Anyway, go watch OSP, guys. But yeah, while Heraklinos is a little trickier to summon out because he's a 3-mat, he is still a contact fusion, and he is a spell trap negate. He does cost you a card, but you're not necessarily hurting with the abilities you have with Glad Beasts. And he has a 3k stat line that makes it worth it, so while the deck didn't take off and start taking names, it didn't start winning until the second wave of support, Heraclinos is still a very decent boss monster to start out with. And now, we're going to diverge slightly. There are a couple of monsters that also came out in Gladiator's Assault that are associated with them. And also, I think there's honestly some probable funny memes here. So, there is a sub-theme that goes with our boys of Test. The first card, Test Ape. Also quite possibly the card persona of that one dueling monkey from GX. Not really, but like, kind of. Look at him.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. The OCG name for this is very bad. It was literally Slave Ape.
I mean, all the gladiators are like.
I guess it could be.
Yeah, it makes sense with the Gladiator Beast, but like, in English, Slave Ape.
Not
It's
good.
just like, nope, that is a bad look. Good localization. I think Test Ape gets you the vibes you want
it's
without
a test animal.
yeah.
Because it turns out in science we do a lot of horrible shit to animals.
Yeah. And well, mostly that's just because we are not allowed to do horrible shit to humans for good reasons.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there does seem to need to be some level of biological testing. However, there have been a lot of concerns over the years with very unethical testing on animals, apes included sometimes. But yeah, Test Ape. He's an ape in a tube. He has a robot hand. He's got goggles. They do nothing. It's,
Yep.
pretty normal. There's not a lot to say out here. Chad has a great statement.
One piece named Bueller.
Yeah, Test Ape versus Sheehan Soldier. Who would win? So,
Oh yeah.
very
Yeah.
classic vibes here. Yeah, but there's not really much to say about this art. It's very straightforward, but it's good to bring up. So, Test Ape is an Earth Beast monster, level 2, 700 attack, 300 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Glad Beast from your deck. So, obviously, this does not trigger their effect, but this gives you a monster to use to bring out your Gladiator Beasts if you need them. I don't know how popular Test Ape was. Dallas would probably remember, but that's not the primary Test archetype monster you guys are familiar with. But yes, Test Ape is a decent component. Now, the one you guys probably know. Test Tiger. So,
He looks cool.
yeah, he looks pretty good. There's a little bit of softness to the lines. It makes me feel strongly like, again, this was done with probably with a reference.
And maybe like a brush tool. Honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, some of that might be from the blow up for,
Yeah, the resin, yeah.
yeah, the upres for Mastery Duel, because the lines look a little sharper in the photo scan of the card. This card was so good it got reprinted several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than just he's a tiger cosplaying one of Yugi's iconic monsters. Take your pick. Is it Dark Magician or Buster Blader? Other than that,
I think it'd be more of like, I guess, Takahashi.
yeah, definitely some.
armor
Yeah,
styling.
it's just if you were the Yu-Gi-Oh cards by AI Twitter and you told it to make a card that was just Yu-Gi-Oh Armor Tiger, that's this. But that's not really bad. It fits in theme. I think the leg bit at the back is a little weird because it makes it look like he's wearing little pantaloons, little pants, little long johns, little socks.
I mean, same thing with his like front legs. I think it's also.
I
because
mean, I
it's-
feel like the
it's
front ones are far
midpoint.
enough up.
I think it's because it's like it's the pre-stage before they made like Quarry.
Yeah. Definitely that's kind of the vibe we're going. But yeah, he's just a tiger, man. It's cool.
For the casual, it brings up a nice one. Kung Fu Panda chick. Tigress.
Yeah, kind of. But this is I think this was a little before Kung Fu Panda? What was Kung Fu Panda?
Ish. I can't remember.
Yes, this would have been before. Kung Fu Panda wasn't released until 08. Gladiator Assault was late 07 in the TCG. But yeah,
It was
Test
hot.
Tiger is a level 3 Earth Beast, 600 attack, 300 defense. If you control a face-up Gladiator Beast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You contribute this card to target one face-up Gladiator Beast monster you control, shuffle that target into the deck, and then special summon one Gladiator Beast monster from your deck, and treat it as if it was special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster. So, Test Tiger is very important. This is an extender. It's a free special if you have a Glad Beast on deck, and it lets you immediately go into your Glad Beast effects without needing to go to the battle phase. It is a very strong card. I suspect that it is still good even in Glad Beast to this day. Because it's just a free fucking +1.
I think Dallas have to tell us because he keeps track of like usually like keeps list. He always checks like the list of like top decks and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's still a rogue deck.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. You can probably still play it at your locals, and absolutely, I think you would be playing Test Tiger because, like I said, it's just a free special summon,
It's the
and
one
it
you
lets
always
you.
play at 3 of. I
Yeah.
think the other ones you can run different numbers of, but it was one who was run at 3.
And in
It's
fact,
always
this
been
was
able
why
to-
it was a big concern if people could play Glad Beasts in our Prog series when we were actively doing that because it was an Ultra originally.
Yeah.
But it got
never
several
reprinted one,
reprints
yeah.
over the years. Hasn't been reprinted in a while. Could probably go with one, but you know, we'll save that for future nostalgia sets. And then there's one more Weird Boy card that came out in
The Link.
No. I mean,
no?
like in that set, in Gladiator's Assault.
Oh. Okay.
There was one more weird card that is not a Gladiator Beast, but it's very clearly a Gladiator Beast card.
Oh. The test pen. Never mind.
No. That one's later. This one is not a
okay.
test monster. But again, it is very clearly supposed to be associated with the Gladiator Beasts for reasons. And that is Witch Doctor of Sparta.
Oh. Forgot this existed.
Yeah. So aesthetically, I don't think he's super similar to the Glad Beasts, though he does have some Konami orbs.
I can kind of see it, but it feels like a very much offshoot.
Yeah, this one definitely was drawn by a different artist in a different style. I don't know what's going on with his mouth/nose bone there. That's a little weird.
It's a mask thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a mask. But the reason why most people would agree this card is probably related, it was printed in Gladiator's Assault, and it reads, inflict 500 damage to your opponent each time a monster is special summoned from either player's deck. So, while you could argue Witch Doctor of Sparta is a Glad Beast counter card, because it's inflict 500 to your opponent every time a monster is special summoned from either player's deck, it also works great if you were to play some kind of Glad Beast burn deck. Sparta, while not directly related, is still, vaguely close, and the OCG is much closer. That is Witch Doctor of Spartaca, almost as in Spartacus. So, you can tell this card was meant to synergize with Glad Beasts. The fact that he is an Earth Spellcaster level 4, he's got 400 attack and 2k defense. Not quite good enough, I think, to fit into strategies for Glad Beasts. Like, I'm sure some people tried it, but I don't think this was the primary Glad Beast strat. It's still an interesting one, and like I said, there's some thematic similarities here. Like, the Wikipedia says it's a related card, and I'm like, why would you say that? And then I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, okay. Seems legit. But now we're going to move on to our second wave of support. Let me double check. Hour 15-ish, okay. So, the next blob of support was in Phantom Darkness, the immediate next set in 08. And it features some interesting cards. First of all, I believe, actually no, I'm pretty sure I know this. The only normal monster in Glad Beasts. Which is kind of a shame, but, we work around. This is Gladiator Beast Andal. He is strong like a bear.
I don't know what they were going for of having a normal in the deck, but
I have a theory that I can discuss later, but anyway. So, the Wikipedia suggests that this might be from Andabata, which refers to a blindfolded gladiator, and he does have those weird goggles. Then his name is Andal. It's a little weird. Let me double check what his OCG name is. Is it closer? Nah, it's still Andaru. Yeah, I have a theory for why he's a normal. It's very easy to explain when we get to his stats. But is there anything we really want to say about his look? Honestly, I think it's pretty good.
It's
a gladiator.
minimalistic, and that's fine.
Yeah. It's an armor bear. He's got robo eyes. cool.
Got human hand.
Yeah, he's got some fairly humanoid hands, but, he's also standing on legs. We can't see his feet, which I'm thankful for.
Which
No
is
feet
good.
pics.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, it's just a big old bear guy with some armor. He's got a good color scheme. I think that kind of like, dirty white, brown look and black bear color is good with the purple. It fits all together. So, first of all, he has flavor text because he is a normal. This one-eyed warrior bear is an aggressive hunter that strikes down its prey with powerful swipes of its claws. No one can bear the brunt of his tremendously fast and heavy blows. He is also on the card art for Gladiator Proving Ground, which is their Rhoda. However, the reason why I say that I understand why this guy exists, this is a level 4 Earth Beast Warrior with 1900 attack, 1500 defense. He's just a 1900 attacker.
This is Earth Arcane Soldier, yeah.
Yeah, so he is an Earth Beast Warrior 1900 beater. Not the most common thing in the world. And because he is a Gladiator Beast monster, you can at least summon him off their effects. You don't get to extend after that, but sometimes you just need a guy, and that, lets you access certain spell traps and stuff. So it's just adding an extra name with a decent stat line, without Laquari's special summoning effect. He is your best normal summon in the deck. It's still okay. Obviously, I think it's kind of outmoded now, but, back in 2008, not terrible. Like, I'm not going to say no to free 1900 beaters.
Yep.
All right, but let me double-check my list. Who's is next? Yeah, this is another one that the people probably know. I get to make memes to chat. Okay, where's my grabber here? All right, here's my art. This is Gladiator Beast Darius, age 3. He is a horseman. Literally.
Yeah, that's. I guess the black on the bronze too works pretty well.
Yeah. It's an okay color scheme.
He's got a giant metal horseshoe on his back.
Yeah, he's got a horseshoe on his back. He's themed. It's a little silly.
And a metal whip.
Yeah, he's got a very long metal whip. It's not the silliest thing, but yeah, there's some goofy stuff here. Like I said, this archetype gives me strong Saturday morning cartoon vibes, and several other people in chat have been talking about how it's like very, very Digimon-esque or very like, Power Rangers Super Sentai villain faction type shit. Like that's about the level of seriousness we're dealing with here. It's okay. He's got a horseshoe back and a shocky whip. He's also got a horn, so he's a unicorn. But yeah, named after Darius the Great, probably. Could have been an elephant, yeah. But they went with a horseman. Honestly, I don't have much else to say about him. Does anybody else have anything they want to point out?
He's not offensive, which I'm happy with.
Yes.
Yeah. He just
But okay.
got like a horseshoe back thing.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chain whip.
Oh
He is in-
yeah. Actually, should we? Actually, no. We have still much more things to get through. Trying to guess the time would take time.
No. And honestly, the conflict between Beasts and Beast Warriors is weird. He is a Beast Warrior. Why is he a Beast Warrior when Alexander is a Beast? I don't know. But
And he's Earth, but he
Yes.
has electricity.
as Dallas has brought up, there are actually some Earth Thunder monsters, so it's not the worst. But yeah, they're definitely playing up the technological angle with his like lightning whip. But yeah, he's an Earth Beast Warrior, pretty normal. Level 4, 1700 attack, 300 defense. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, target a Gladiator Beast in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effect is negated by this card, and it is shuffled into the deck when it leaves the field. After this card attacked or was attacked, you can shuffle it back. So Darius is a very important card because when its effect procs, you get to add more Glad Beasts back. This lets you set up for your more complex fusions, as we've discussed, for instance. And in general, lets you play to your recovery when your guys actually get run over. Their effects obviously are negated so that they can't apply their when special summoned effect, but they do get shuffled back into the deck when they are defeated, so it's just a good way to get extension, and he has a pretty decent stat line at 1700. So Darius immediately became another mainstay of the deck. At common, by the way. Because Konami, knows when they've got a good thing, and they flip them scripts much faster in the old days. All right. And we also are immediately jumping to yet another staple. This one was technically later in the year, but still was 08. So like I said, we're classifying by rough waves of support. But to show you how popular Glad Beasts were, they continue to get support into Duelist Genesis, into the Synchro era, even though they were not at all, jibing with that. Though I guess you could say Contact Fusion is similar to Synchroing, but this is Gladiator Beast Equeste. He is a centaur.
He looks okay for a centaur. He's like,
Yeah.
It's like a futuristic centaur.
Yeah, there's a little bit of busyness. He's got a little bit too much future shit, I think, but like, in general, it's not the worst.
And the Battle Manica, I think.
Probably the silliest thing is why he has giant robot wings on his horse shoulders. But again, it's Gladiator Beasts. We just need to accept some.
Tall.
Yeah, we need to just take our L's sometimes. Also,
Kinda
I think
cool
he's charging up
spike
his Shoryuken or his Hadoken or something. Like,
I legit think it's the Battle Manica, yeah, like it's a special thing.
it is true. It is differently colored. I think it is the Manica, but I'm not sure why it's like glowing with evil energy. He's getting ready to blow up the Earth if Goku doesn't stop him. But no, like, in general, this is a pretty good one. Yeah. Color scheme's okay. The reddish look of the one arm is definitely deliberate. Shield is a decent design. And hey, in case you guys can't tell from the name, Equeste as in, Equestus, Equites, a cavalry gladiator. So, makes sense. He is the horse. Now, well, I guess I see why they have to do the wings. I just realized. I think I kind of gave it away. We could have played the what's the type game on this, but he is a winged beast, so I guess the wings are essential.
I guess.
I feel like he could just be like a.
I could have just
don't know
gone
why
with
they
Beast
can't-
Warrior, yeah. He's a level
I don't
4
know
with
why they go with
1600
Beast
attack, 1200 defense. The main thing is, similar to Darius, he's got a recycling effect. When he's special summoned by a Gladiator Beast, target a Glad Beast in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and he has the tag out effect. So, Equeste gives you another way to get your boys back if they're in the graveyard, which is good. You want that. You don't want those boys in the graveyard. Alrighty. And then this one. Okay, this is going to be good. Send another one of these. This is Gladiator Beast Retiari. Or possibly Resciari, but Retiari. He's a gator man.
Yeah, gear, man.
Probably technically a crocodile because they're romantic, but you know what I need. So this comes from Retiarius, which is remember how there was a lasso guy? This guy is the net guy. In case you can't tell by the fact that he has a net and a trident. So this, good art, good on theme. Also, just in general, good art. I feel like a lot of the more reptilian guys are a lot easier. Like in this, in the blown up version, the up-res, his skin's like a little shiny, considering he's does kind of look like a gator guy. And I'm not entirely sure what's going on with his eyes being like polished Konami orbs in their own right, but in general, this is a pretty good art. He's got a trident, he's got a net. There's a lot of like little you see that cross hatching on that net detail? Like there's some tight ass, detailing on this. His armor's pretty good.
Like there's even like you can see like the damage in someone, like just actual scratches, I think.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah, no, those are definitely like some scratch. Yeah, those are definitely they're asymmetric. There's scratches on his like
On all those
shin
armor
guard
moves,
there.
like,
Yeah,
like he's been in fights.
yeah. There's a lot of really good detail in this card. And you know, when you go into the bayou, you sometimes don't come out of the bayou good to gate or
I mean,
to death row.
I've also just noticed that like it looks like he's running on the water because I know they flood the arena for like their ocean fights.
Yes, there were. Again, if you don't understand how crazy gladiatorial stuff was as an entertainment, the Colosseum and several other similar arenas were built to be flooded so they could have mock naval battles in them.
Also, think in the story mode too.
Yes, they do also talk about they would flood it for naval battles.
That's why they have all the aquatic
Yeah.
glad beasts for like so they could be in
Now,
and on.
interestingly enough, Retiari is a water, obviously, but he is an aqua, not a fish or a reptile.
I
He's
guess
an
he's
aqua.
mostly in the water, not on boat.
Yeah. He's a level 3. He's got 1200 attack, 800 defense. When this card is special summoned by a Glad Beast monster, you basically get to DD Crow your opponent. You remove... Wow, this guy... Yes, no, he has not been printed since 2010. Very sad. She is pre-PCST. You can remove from play one card in your opponent's graveyard.
Yeah, I guess the idea is you drag it into the watery depths.
Yeah, you net him and you go. And then he... So, obviously, I think at the time, Retiari obviously had, like, side deck potential. You know, you probably wouldn't main deck him because his stats are a little weak, but being able to go into this to, like, snipe something out of your opponent's graveyard could be very useful. Decent side deck card. Not really relevant these days. Like, I think he would just side deck, like, D-Shifter or DD Crow, right? You know, you don't actually need him. Probably why he hasn't been reprinted in a while. But it's an interesting guy. And as usual, his card art is pretty bitchin'. I feel kind of sad that most of the guys who have good card art are kind of the weenies who have the weird effects.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
But he's functional. I would not play him today, but he is certainly a guy. Okay, it's the one you've all been waiting for. You knew it was coming.
It's your boy.
It's Gladiator Beast Geyseris. Or as MBT with one of his infamous mispronunciations would not shut the fuck up about, Jizzerus.
Yeah.
Tiny head.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a... I think, honestly, it's not that his head is tiny. His
think it's
armor
angled.
is huge.
I think it's
Yes.
also I think it's the angle partially too.
His
and-
hands look small.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
like,
the opposite of Yowie hands.
his shoulder pads are so huge, guys.
Yeah. This looks like one of those guys like, I'm charging up, just let me get there, I'm going so slow.
He's doing
Yeah.
a spark tackle.
Yeah.
It's a bit of. I honestly feel like the How about this? It feels like the artists tried to do a perspective, and I think I just fucked up a bit too much.
Yes.
But it also looks like BCR
yeah.
got buff a bit.
Yeah, it's
more.
by the way, this it does require Bestiari +1. So we did not quite get to generic fusions yet, but still, Bestiari is one of your best monsters and was the limited one for a while. So, no, the pronunciation on this is Geyseresu. So yes, it is Geyserus. Probably, I will hypothetically agree with what they suggest this is supposed to be, as in like Gaius is in like Gaius Julius Caesar. It's kind of in that vein. It's still pretty weird, but yeah, he's here. And this is the big one. This is the fucker. Like, this is the thing that made Glad Beasts good. Is there really that much to say about his art? I mean, like X said, he's just Bestiari, but buff.
I think it's just he got like he has some of Alexander's like pointy bit, but like he's just midair. He's just got full
Yeah.
armor now.
Yeah, no, that's it. He's the full armor one. This is the mid-season Sentai upgrade to sell you another toy. Battleizer, as they would say in the Power Rangers. But yeah, like, honestly, there's not a lot, other than just the sheer scale of it. Like, his armor is very, very big, and with this, like, slight angle, it's very weird. Functionally, the design is not awful. A lot of gladiatorial stuff is meant for show, so it's not necessarily supposed to be practical. They are certainly some big-ass Konami orbs, y'all. But, like, it's fine. It exists. Also, yes, by the way, if you hadn't somehow figured that out, we say Jizzerus because during Prague playoffs, actually I think it might have started in history. Because obviously Gladbeast would have been a subject for History of Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. MBT does that thing he does where he deliberately says things wrong, like saying Stratos as opposed to Stratus. A lot of people say it that way, though, and I don't even think that's just on him. Technically speaking, I think it works either way. It is just an actual word called Stratos, though. Stratus. Stratosphere. Stratos. Stratocumulus? There's some other Stratos words I'm not thinking of. But, yeah, the actual pronunciation is totally Geysirus. What he does, this is a dark winged beast fusion. He's level 6. He's 2,400 attack, 1,500 defense. Must be special summoned by shuffling the above cards. That's bestiary plus any one Gladbeast. Into the deck, do not use polymerization. When this card is special summoned, target up to 2 cards on the field, destroy them. At the end of your battle phase, if this card battled, you can return it to the extra deck, special summon 2 Gladbeasts except bestiary. Yeah, so that's it. This guy's just pop 2. You just make a contact fusion and pop 2. Also, by the way, one of his mats is also a pop. So, like, this is a very spicy board breaker back in the day. And requires very little setup to get to. Like, literally just get bestiary in your graveyard, normal summon Darius, go. You can contact fuse. It's done. So, yes, this is a powerhouse of a card. And then Gladbeasts go a little silent. Their next support's not for a little bit. But I will say around this time, there was yet another side card that we're going to just want to bring up. Because it's one of, I think, Konami's early attempts at lore-type cards. Honestly, I think they got better at this about, you know... Hold on. Okay, yeah. They're not really that different, but anyway. So, let us show GB Hunter, as in Gladbeast Hunter. This is the uncensored art. Woo! The censored version just... censored? Because in this version, she looks like she's wearing a leotard. And I guess that, like, her underskin pinnings were weird.
She looks like a... like an early 2000s Capcom protagonist or side character, or like heroine.
Yeah, no. This chick has an action game on the PS2 that like 10 people remember.
I was gonna say arcade game.
That too.
See that. But yeah, no. The censored version is just they continued the black color down to her little garter belt, so it looks like she's got shorts on, because Konami is afraid of ass cheeks. Even though you can't see them, and they are very like that's not her skin tone. She's wearing camouflage tights, guys. She's just really into milsurp, okay? So, GB Hunter, obviously, while she's a human, I think that you can tell this definitely has some aesthetic similarities to the Gladbeast. Like, she's got a lot of extra techno shit.
I think she's a cyborg.
Yeah, like, she looks like she's got a robot arm, or possibly 2 robot arms. It's really hard to tell with her second arm. I don't know what it's doing.
And maybe, like, some bits in her face.
Yeah, she's wearing a face mask. She's got little ear clips. By the way, I brought up the censored art. This is still censored in Master Duel. That's why I was confused. I had to go grab this is the Japanese Master Duel version. I don't even know why they would like it's so not anything Konami. But yeah, GB Hunter, again, literally GB Hunter, is a Earth type warrior effect monster, level 4. She has 1,200 attack, 2k defense. And then her effect simply says, cards on the field can't be returned to the deck. So, while it does not specify Gladiator Beasts, this is obviously a card meant to counter Gladiator Beasts. It's, again, just a really weird, interesting lore thing that they don't really go anywhere with. But it's just a neat bit of card design. Obviously, meta-wise, I can understand kind of why they would do that, though this didn't come out until 09 in Raging Battle. So this would be well into Telenad format when you didn't really need to kick Gladiator Beast down anymore. But still, it's like I said, interesting. It's a weird thing. I kind of wish sometimes they would do a little bit more with this. They do occasionally remember to tuck these kinds of weird interrelated cards. But yeah, it's cute. Our next one is... Let's see, when was this card released? Yeah, so this is Crimson Crisis. So our next one is smack dab in the middle of the Synchro era. Well, actually, Crimson Crisis is still fairly early, but, you know, Synchro has well and truly started. I believe all the bits for Teledad was right there in the first... was in Duelist Genesis, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that was
I
like...
think that was the first psychic support.
Yeah.
Was
So this is Gladiator Beast Samnite. So this is just, you know, another, like, very specific... like, honestly, this is the first time they've done a design where they've mentioned a class of Gladiator and actually got his gear load outright. He's got a short sword and a tall shield. He's got some test tubes. He's got saber teeth. His feet are tremendously fucked up. Oh, my God. Call this guy a fucking Odd Eyes. Jesus. Wait, he's got red and blue orbs. He is an Odd Eyes. Stealth Odd Eyes card. No. I don't want to go back.
Odd Eyes Glad Beast crossover.
I mean, what's his face? Odd Eyes Performer Pal Metal Claw is not that far from this design. Let's be real. But yeah, no. Parts of this are okay. Parts of this are not okay. I see what they're going for with the weird test tubes in his shoulder pads, but like, damn, they're weird. Like, they're too huge. Also, the green really offsets the rest of his color palette. Like, that kind of light gray with the black and gold and the very slight amount of red, that's decent. The green does not really go there together. We're just adding too many colors to this. It's a little busy. Also, hold on. Is it just me, or is his lower jaw, like, out of alignment? I feel like his lower teeth don't line up with his upper teeth. He's kind of side mouth on you.
Yeah, it don't quite fit.
Yeah. It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
He's got some glow sticks coming out of his shoulder pads.
Yeah, like I said, I think they're test tubes, but they could be glow sticks or they could be vacuum tubes. Perhaps he gets radio. Glad Beast Samnite is an Earth Beast, not a Beast Warrior. Level 3, 1600 attack, 1200 defense. If it was special summoned by the effect of a Glad Beast monster, when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, so fuck you if you've got Macrocosmos, you can add a Glad Beast from your deck to your hand at the end of the battle phase, swap it out. So, honestly, Samnite's just an example of kind of too little too late. I can see why in Crimson Crisis they might be like, oh, we need to give Glad Beast some extra kick. You know, they're very popular, but they're kind of slipping. If you'll recall, I mentioned, Glad Beasts already have a Rhoda. They have a literal card that is add a level 4 or lower Glad Beast to your hand. This guy is completely unnecessary, and I do not think he made any waves at the time. Dallas, when you watch the VOD, you know, in the year 2025, make sure to leave in the comments if I'm wrong, but I feel like Samnite is not good enough to kind of get out there on his own. All right. Now, our next wave of support coming out in an interesting time period. This first guy is kind of in the Xyz era. Let me double check. Was he, like, printed in a weird sets? Okay, so this was a V-Jump promo originally. What year was that? 2010. So it got localized fairly close. Sorry, I'm just trying to unpack because this guy had some very weird set releases. So our next one is Gladiator Beast Lanista. So Lanista is on the screen. He is also an Eagleman.
I got more of like the damage, like it's been used.
Yeah.
It looks like it's someone else wearing another person's armor. It's just been used multiple times and broken up and still going for it. That's cool.
So, the Lanista was a owner/trainer of a troop of gladiators. So, you know, their boss. don't know if that has a lot on his design. This kind of looks just like a, similar to Bestiary, but, he, as you said, he's got a lot more battle damage on his armor and spear.
Yeah, this gives the vibe of man who's been through some shit.
Yeah.
So he's the vet.
They've kind of done that coloring on his face plumage to make it look like a beard, which is cool. Also, just in general, I feel like this design is like Laquari's armor, but better. Like, there's no extra harpoons and bits. The bright yellows in some parts of his body are a little weird, but otherwise, this one's fairly okay. As said earlier, this was a V-Jump promo originally, and then came out in Legendary Collection 2, by the way, the Duelist Academy years, and then later in the Raw Yellow Mega Pack, because I guess while they weren't actually in GX, Glad Beasts were a GX era archetype.
In lore, he's prototype, third man.
I could see that. He's an older generation. So Lanista is also a winged beast. He's level 4. He has 1800 attack, 1200 defense. When this card is special summoned by a Glad Beast monster, target a Glad Beast in your graveyard, banish it. This card's name becomes that name until the end phase. And then during battle phase, you can shuffle back. So this is an interesting take on, like, getting your extra fusion materials. And actually, what years was Bestiary limited?
Like, to be fair, if in lore, like, the name is meant to be like a trainer and his name becomes that name, it's like, it makes sense.
Yes. Like,
It's
that's a
pretty
good...
nice No, okay. According to Dennis, they cameo in GX.
Oh, were they actually used by the monkey? I guess he did use test tape. Okay, so yeah, that works as an excuse to tack this this card that, like I said, was a V-Jump promo in a side set, something that Konami is still terrible at to this day. I, in fact, kind of wish they would stop including promos in manga magazines because it's awful. You keep putting key legacy support and selling comics to children, but it really fucks your market, guys. Maybe they have an agreement with V-Jump. Anyway.
Wait a second. According to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, fandom wiki, he uses a simian deck, which is just a bunch of monkey cards.
Yeah, he might have used test tape. I don't remember that episode. And I don't really care to get into the specifics that much, but... Let me see. Let me check specifically the OCG chart, because for when this guy was released, yeah, when this card came out as a promo, Bestiary was still limited in the OCG. So I think you can see what Lanista was supposed to do. Like Loth said earlier, it has a logic if he's supposed to be the trainer that he dubs for names, but very clearly this is supposed to give you extra copies of Bestiary without giving you extra copies of Bestiary. So you can make Geysers. In that case, I think, like, getting a name sub is decent, but you probably don't need it in modern Glad Beasts. But, again, he's got an okay design. He's got a good stat line.
Like, when it came out? Yeah.
Yeah, an 1800 guy. I mean, even now, 1800 on a normal summon is still decent.
According to the fandom wiki, appearances in the anime, the Bonds Beyond Time movie, and Arc V.
Yeah, I saw that.
The fuck?
Yeah, I don't see anywhere where it's GX.
Damn you, Mr. Dennis Cordell, you lied to me.
Loth will remember that.
Okay.
Okay.
I probably won't, honestly.
I feel like also as we get into the this is now into the Xyz era because this was Extreme Victory. They start getting punnier with the names. So this is Gladiator Beast Tigerius, or just Tigel in the OCG.
Like Tiberius?
Yeah, like Tiberius, but also like Tiger. So yeah, he's a white tiger.
That was one of two ways they could have taken that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pun, so it's both. It's double entendre. But yeah, honestly, though...
I mean, in terms of the pun.
Yes.
Like Tiberius.
Oh, yeah, it could have been like a bear. But no, he's a tiger, so it's Tiberius plus tiger. Honestly, again, this one's pretty good. They're doing that thing again where they're showing, like, the battle damage, the cracks, and so on. As Axe pointed out earlier, they're really leaning into that effect. He's kind of a greenish white, which is a little weird, but I think it goes well with his light blue orbs and the dark purple of his armor.
Still got those weird wing contraption things, but
Yeah, and again, the thing though is right, like, again, these guys are gladiator beasts, so they're showmen. It makes sense for there to be some decoration. I think obviously the bright yellow does kind of go with that darker purple, so the color complementing is not really fucked up.
I appreciate that this guy doesn't look as humanoid. Like he's hunched over and is like, but his proportions don't look normal. It's more like a animal-human mix.
Unfortunately, there's a reason why you probably don't know this guy. Because he was a common pack filler in Extreme Victory. So, Tigerius is another level 4 Earth Beast. So that may explain why he is also a little less anthropomorphic. He has 1800 attack, 800 defense. They found a lot of different combinations for 1800 attack, y'all. And there's a big, important first line of text on this monster. This card cannot be used as a fusion material monster.
Yeah, that kind of kills him.
When this card is special summon the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you can discard a card to add a Glad Beast. Discard a Glad Beast card to add a Gladiator Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Once again, you have a Rhoda.
For that first effect, you should have had a much better second effect, honestly.
Yes. I get that they want to give you extra searchers, maybe so you can put the tribute guys in your hand. And obviously, he is a level 4. This card was released in Extreme Victory. While there is no Gladiator Beast Xyz monster, there were only ever, at this point, 3 fusion monsters, so that's not a full extra deck. So, I could see you leaning into, like, rank 4 stuff, but still, it's just not a very good Glad Beast card. Like, again, you have a gosh darned Rhoda in your deck. And you have basically, like, a shuffle back draw card. You've got a Pot of Greed type card. You do not need this many searchers. Especially because it only lets you add a Gladiator Beast monster, not a spell trap. So, a decent attempt. Again, a really good art. Very mid effect. Alright. And then I think this one is a fusion. Okay, yeah, so there was a 4th fusion monster introduced. This was also Extreme Victory. And I do believe this one is going to be good because he's their first truly generic fusion. Oh, chat, you're gonna fucking love this one. Okay, all right. This is Gladiator Beast Esedari.
Let's go to the next one.
So remember when I talked about Saturday morning cartoon vibes? This guy's from a 60s cartoon. This is like Dick Dastardly underdog type shit.
Can I just say one sentence?
Go for it.
That perfectly sums up how I feel about this guy. It's Mad Max, Gorilla Grodd, Professor X, all into one thing.
Yeah.
Mixed with the War Chariot.
Well, yeah, that's obviously, he's saying that Professor X, yeah, that's a very good use of that emote chat. Esidarius is a chariot gladiator. Cool, okay, he's got a chariot. Neat. Why, is it just me or does this look like he's got a demonic eye here? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
It looks like he's fused to the chariot.
He clearly is, yeah.
That's why I said Professor X. It looks like it's just a fucking wheelchair.
It's just it's a jet-powered weird robot chariot that has no horses. I do not like his shield. It is like way too like bulbous and bubbly. Like it looks like it's like made of like foam or rubber or something. It looks bouncy because it's so rounded. And his bat is also kind of goofy. But yeah, no, this is just like, and the weird thing. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Chat, once again, look at this guy. This guy's very happy about what he's doing. He loves his job. Which kind of does not sell the fact that this looks very silly.
Yeah. This looks as silly as those guys combining with their D wheels in 5D's second season.
Yeah. No, we already had lots of knockoff TMNT, I think. But yeah, no, I'm like, there's a million ways you could have made this better. I'm gonna do a weird Uno reverse type shit here. what if this was a JoJo's reference? Because this isn't a JoJo's reference, but it could be. There was a much more interesting Death Chariot race in Battle Tendency.
Yeah.
Why isn't this guy a unicorn? That would have been much better. Anyway, Esadari is all right. I do not think it is the best card, but it is their first truly generic contact fusion, and it's fairly decent. This is an Earth Beast. It's level 5. It's got 2,500 attack, 1,400 defense, and it's just any 2 Glad Beast monsters. It must be special summoned from your extra deck by shuffling the cards you control in your deck. You do not use polymerization. It has no other effect, so it doesn't even tag back out. But it does allow you to turn any 2 Glad Beasts into a 2,500 attack monster, so that's okay. To its foot power. Yeah, he's fucking Fred Flintstoning it under there. Yabba dabba doo. Okay, all right, let's get out of here. The Zexal era was not kind to Glad Beasts, we'll say. Effort was made, but we didn't really shimmy sham out there. And technically, our next guy is also still, it's not quite the Pendulum era, but this is much more late in Zexal, and just before some Pendulum support came out for these guys. So, this is Gladiator Beast Augustus. And I believe what I want to say here is the motherfucker dragon. I see nobody is fighting me on that. He's not literally a dragon, by the way. He is still a winged beast. I know, it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
He makes you think about, he more feels like a cockatrice.
No, he's way too scaly for that.
At least the face part.
Like, yeah, I mean, he's got a little bit of the cockatrice type head, but yeah. And I'm sure that if I look on the Wikipedia, it'll say...
My initial look at this scene before it blew up was like, wait, zombie Glad Beast?
No, he's just very purple, and he does
I
have
know
purple
that.
legs.
I was like, that was my first thought. Was like, no.
I will say,
baddish, but also like it has like I don't know why, but it sort of reminds of Castlevania or something.
I mean, I could totally see this guy in Castlevania. He's got weird, like he's got their wings, and they have the wing hands, but they're very, very handy. Like he could totally reach down and grab you with those big arms. He's got a command grab. What I want to say is, while he does still have like the tubing, I like how low tech some of these Glad Beasts have been. Like a lot of the weird and dumb parts of the Glad Beasts are the tech parts. Again, see Esidari. Augustus is just a guy, or maybe a dragon guy, or maybe he was just a dragon.
A Draconid.
Trogdor! Old school. Yeah, no. By the way, Wikipedia does in fact say cockatrice. I personally, if I was drawing a cockatrice, would do some more feathers, because it's not like a cockatrice is not just a dragon with a rooster head.
I mean, a cockatrice varies a lot of different designs, but it's usually just that headpiece and like that kind of beak and those kind of eyes.
I mean, it's the discussion of it, like it's usually the whole head of the bird at least. Also, they are described as, like a chicken walking on two legs. Like here, I will for comparison. Oh, hey chat, I found something for you to be. Let me just make sure I'm centering this right. You guys get to be a heraldic cockatrice today. This is the heraldry of a cockatrice. It's similar, but also like different. And now you are that guy. Enjoy, chat. So that's like the recurring symbolism. So like this is in that ballpark, but still very much more extra, which is a little weird. I don't dislike him. He is very extra, but again, a lot of this low-tech stuff is good. Also, yes, no, he is a bird. He is a winged beast. This is a dark winged beast. Level 8, 2,600 attack, 1k defense. When this is a main deck monster, by the way. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you can special summon a Glad Beast from your hand in defense position. Shuffle it into the deck during the end phase. If this card attacked or was attacked, you can shuffle it back. So Augustus is what Glad Beast boss monsters should have been. When he is summoned, he extends your play. By the way, that's a Gladiator Beast summoning him, so you get their effect from hand. So it gives you an extra activation when he summons. And he is a big guy, and he doesn't have any weird effects where he can only be special summoned by a specific monster. And actually, I think, let me check that top list. Because this card was released in 2014, and that was the last time that Gladiator decks did top. So let me double check. Was this guy out, and was he in the Glad Beast deck in Bulgaria?
I have Griffin. I think that's what I just got.
Oh, no. Yeah. The Bulgaria win was very much Glad Beast control. It's like 2 copies of Black Horn, 1 Chariot, Liquori Equested Darius Bestiari, Thunder King Ryo is in here. Like, it's half traps. Was this guy out in March? No. So he would have been out for the June list, but was not in it. So that's a shame that Glad Beast never topped with this guy, but I think he is a good monster for them to have. Obviously, as you can tell from me talking about that list, their use as a deck build kind of switched a little. But also during this rough time period, they got another one. This is also in Primal Origin. So this one is... Don't save as. Copy. Copy, please. This is Gladiator Beast Nirokius. Soap.
I like his. The size updated a bit, but actually, I like the design. Honestly.
Yeah. I think there are things I would obviously have complaints about. There is an excessive amount of glowing Konami orbs here.
Yeah. Also, this guy radiates Duke Bro energy.
Oh yeah, no, he's fucking. He's asking you if you lift, bro.
I guess I more saw something kind of like ominous, like he's the big dude.
Oh, I mean, yes,
And-
no, you could
and
also put the.
orbs are more like eyes.
If
that
you
kind of
turned the
stuff.
glowing orbs into JoJo Menacing, perfect. But yeah, no, like honestly, this is again a more modern aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh design. There's almost no high-tech shit. There's some weird muscle goop in weird places, which I think actually works. Dallas would be all over it. In fact, I'm willing to take a bet with you, chat, that this is Dallas's favorite Glad Beast monster on account of him being so gross and monstery. Again, future Dallas in the year 2030. Confirm in the comments.
It's a giant Batman.
Yeah.
Or Man-Bat, I guess you put it.
And he's got huge shoulder pads. He's got 6 wings for extra Chad energy. But overall, yeah, no, it's pretty decent. Like, again, I think the number of lit up orbs is excessive, but other than that, it's a very solid design. So, Nirokius, also from Primal Origin, is a dark winged beast fusion. Pretty interesting. We're calling Bat a winged beast. I guess you can do that technically with the definition. He is a level 8. He has 2,800 attack, 1,900 defense, and is any 3 winged beast, not winged beast, gladiator beast monster. So he is a generic 3-mat contact fusion. Let's be somebody filling the deck. Cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card attacks or is attacked, he has the Armades effect. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. And then, at the end of the damage step, if this card attacked or was attacked, you can shuffle it into the extra deck, special summon 2 Glad Beasts from your deck. So yeah, again, being 3-mat, he's a little harder to get out, but Nirokius, very good boss monster. For the time period, this would have been a card worth playing. I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't think... Actually, let me double-check that list. That he might have been in the extra. I didn't look closely at it. No, they were playing 1 Esidari, 2 Gizaris, 1 Heraclinos. Interesting. And none of these other tops are from when it came out. So yeah, it's very weird. I'm just going to guess probably that Pendulum format probably shuckled these guys a little. Because that was not too far behind. But yeah, Nirokius is a very decent card. It does things I think you want. Because he's, can't be destroyed by battle. And then if he attacks, Armades effect, very decent. So, pretty good guy. And a little bit easier to get out than Heraclinos. And then Glad Beasts are silent for a few years. Technically until 2017. But yeah, we're going to budge together a few of their next couple supports. Because they had some 2019 support and some 2017 support, and I don't really feel like splitting hairs that much. We are actually getting close to being done at 2 hours, though. Mostly because that middle block of support was very thin. However, there are a fuck ton of this next wave of support. There's like 10 more cards.
We got all the fusions, and then like the C, I think like the C Raider.
Well, there's a fuck ton more main deck monsters, my guy, as well.
As I said, Sea Raiders. And
No, that's not it.
fusions. Okay.
No, like you're making assumptions based on the story mode. No, there's a lot of support that has come out for these guys. So first of all, we have finally in the year 2019 the waifu Glad Beast. This is Gladiator Beast Atorix. She is clearly a girl.
Yeah, really? Or,
Got a
wait,
skirt.
Lioness.
Got some pink.
What rarity was this
Actual
one?
breastplate.
This was only a rare in Chaos Impact. I think they
Okay.
understood how much Glad Beasts were worth.
Okay.
I don't think Axe understood my joke with actual breastplate, but okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Based on a Katakal cat. Very iconic desert cat with the big ears.
I can't tell if they gave her abs or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hard to tell.
Let's see. Is there technically... Let me double check. Is this somehow sensuad? English. I'm so nah, it's the
confused
same.
By the Kopesh looking thing she's wielding. Like, what the hell?
No, it's bladed the other way around. Actually, it might be double bladed. I don't know, but it's just a very curved scimitar. It's a showy sword. Yes, I do think she's meant to have abs. Also, no, I don't think this card was censored. They just have different versions on record. So we've gone a little bit.
I didn't believe it was censored or not. Just wondering if it was abs.
No, yeah, she does have ab art. I was just wondering if, like, the reason why there's a question is because, like, maybe this is the international version. Maybe she wasn't wearing a bodysuit and we, like, painted over her abs and that's why you can't tell. No, all the arts seem to look like this. And yes, I think she is meant to have abs down there. So we've gone back to the classic Glad Beast stuff, but I don't hate it. Like, she's got some extra Tron lines in her armor, like some weird shoulder pad screws. She's got a very classic, mecha girl anime hair clip things. But overall, it's not a bad look. I do think this pose is a little weird, but it's okay. We're definitely returning to the classic style, which I think works. So, Atorix seems to just be drawn from Gladiatrix, as in the feminine form of Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
There were actually lady gladiators sometimes.
Not surprised.
But, yeah, no, I don't know why they went for Atorix in English. It's just Atrix in Japanese.
I mean, compared to, I wasn't there to talk about it, but what I just saw on screen before I got back, which was that weird back guy. This doesn't look as bad.
No.
It's simple. And that's a plus.
So, Atrix is a Earth Beast Warrior, level 4, 800 attack, 2k defense. If this card is special summoned by a Gladiator Beast monster, you can send a Gladiator Beast monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, except Atrix. Until the end phase, this card's level and name become the same as that monster sent. So, Atrix lets you do that name dubbing effect from Lanista, but better, because she lets you foolish.
And level fix as well if you want to do some weird plays.
Yes, I suspect that you probably were, if you were doing Xyz play, that's also pretty good, because you could, pitch a level 8 to do something funny. So, yeah, this is a decent card. Gladiator Beast hasn't really topped tournaments since these cards came out, but I suspect that Asterix has probably made its way into some modern builds, again, because it lets you foolish cards and name and level fix, which is good for making your fusions, because remember, Geyserus and Heraklinos require certain names. All right. Now, you're gonna think one thing when I show this one, or say its name, but it's not technically correct. But it does make it very funny. So this is, let me just find the blown up card art. Here we go. This is Gladiator Beast Noxious, which is spelled exactly like the word noxious. But the name comes from a phrase Noxi, which means literally hurtful ones. Basically, Noxi were gladiators who did not wish to be trained or anything. They were just sent straight to the arena for not going for the training to just, immediately get their asses kicked. So design-wise, again, this one, very modern, very shiny, very sleek, but not bad. Much like Asterix, this guy's got a very simplistic design. Like, I think he's got some jet boosters on his legs. On the back there. But other than that, like, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Nothing weird going on here. He's got some claws. Those are cool. He's a leopardman. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, my nose itched. But yeah, I don't think there's anything really. Again, it's simple, so there's not a lot to say. But I like it. It's all right. Maybe the green with the kind of indigo is a little weird, but like it's not the worst.
What's the best way to put this? This guy looks like he have that annoying personality. Like, let's fight, let's go. Let's do this.
No, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. Yeah.
If anyone here has seen Hunter x Hunter and has seen the Chimera Ant arc, this guy will give you that feeling of that one guy.
Oh boy, Chad's gonna fucking go off now. Okay, all right.
They'll probably get upset with me pronouncing it Hunter x Hunter instead of just Hunter Hunter.
They might also do that. So, it's going to sound a little weird when I say some of these things, but hold on, okay? Follow me on this. Wait till I get to the effect. Noxious, by the way, was printed in the Battles of Legend in 2017. So this was not quite the same set, like I said, but still was fairly later in their lifestyle. Noxious is a Dark Beast Warrior. He is level 5, has 0 attack, 1,000 defense. Now, you may think to yourself, again, it's weird, but hold on. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, change the attack target to this card and proceed to damage calculation. This card cannot be destroyed by that battle. Sorry, there is a that in there. That's important. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, hey, guess what? Special summoned by his own effect. You can send one Gladiator Beast monster from your deck to the graveyard. At the end of the battle phase of this card, if this card battled, shuffle it into the deck, special summon a Gladiator Beast from your deck. So, Noxious is a battle fader who immediately gets to Foolish and still tags out and can't be destroyed by that battle. So if you are just saving your life from getting fucking slapped in the battle phase, this is a decent card. Obviously, nowadays in 2020, the battle phase is kind of complicated. Some decks are very, very reliant on it. Others do not care. For instance, if you were running to somebody running like Sprite Runic or Runic Mystic Mine, you'll never ever get this effect. But in general, I think this is a decent attempt at giving them a hand trap type effect. He's a battle fader, he immediately foolishes, and then special summons a different guy, hopefully. So, like, he's alright. Wouldn't be surprised if this saw its play in some main decks back in the day. Probably a side deck card now. Like, I don't know if you know for sure your opponent is gonna be trying to attack you for game. You know, a lot of decks just try and set up, 2 or 3 negates and are just like, okay, you lose. Though I feel like that's becoming slightly less common. At the very least, usually you set up those negates who happen to also be on big assholes who can clock your opponent out of the game. But yeah, Noxious, okay.
Oh
Sorry,
no, I can
I'm
hear
just-
the pain.
I'm just. It's not even about the card art. I'm just confused about fucking card design.
Oh no.
Anyway, this is Sagittari. He is a centaur with a bow. Honestly, this art's okay. It's very what it says
It's
on
all
the tin.
right.
He's a horseman with a bow. Sagittarius.
I mean, his armor design's cool, but that's kind of I don't
Yeah.
know necessarily.
But, chat, you'll notice he has a lot of extra wings on him. Hey, guess what type this is?
Wing beast again, huh?
Yeah, it's a wing beast again because we made a wing
another
beast
Pegasus
centaur
fan?
once.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess as I joked, Glad Beasts were Tri Brigade before we did Tri Brigade. So, actually, did we, by the way, try and run Glad Beast Tri Brigade when Tri Brigade cards were good?
I think people try it, but it's never been amazing.
No, it's probably easier to just play Tri Brigade or to play something like Bird Up or other Tri Brigade hybrids. But yeah, no, Sagittari is a fucking he's a wing beast. It hurts me a little.
Yeah.
Sagittari, by the way, refers to archers or horse archers. It's not really a gladiator type, but it does work. And like I said, listen. I like archers. I like horse archers. I like centaur archers. This card's okay. Could be worse. We've looked at some weird shit back in the day. But yeah, anything else? It's got glorious hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. I just don't want to look at this guy anymore.
Okay. So I will then proceed to speak about the Effectus. Hey, so he's a winged beast. He's level 3, 1400 attack. Almost said 1300 there. 1k defense. If this card is special summoned by a Gladiator Beast monster, discard a Glad Beast, draw 2 cards. At the end of battle phase, if this card battled, shuffle into the deck, special summon a Glad Beast, except Sagittari. So again, this came out in Chaos Impact. This is pretty good. The stats are a little low, so him actually tagging out can be hard, but he's just discard 1, draw 2. That's really good.
People love their
Yeah.
hog.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just double checking. At least with the Glad Beast Master Duel thing, they did pair this up with Tri-Gate
Okay, so the
for one deck that you used.
so the solo mode tried Tri Brigade. Okay. I don't know if anybody actually tried it in real life, is what I was wondering. But yeah, that
Yeah, but
makes sense for a Master Duel combo deck. But yeah, no, Sagittari, solid card. He's just a decent extender, lets you draw into more cards.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say about this guy. I don't like
Yep.
looking at him, but that's it.
Well, why don't you like looking at him?
When I look at yes, he's firing the bow, but at an angle, it looks like his human body is 90 degrees to the centaur body. It just looks a bit off.
Some of the Glad Beasts have some problems with posing, yes.
And also his horse legs look super tiny compared to how muscular the rest of him is.
He's extra like these.
It's
Ow.
like very top heavy.
Pop my jaw a little. Yeah, I think it's because you can't see his muscles under his armor plates. Anyway, y'all probably remember this guy. He was definitely featured in the solo mode. This is Gladiator Beast Vespasius.
oh,
Look at this
yeah,
boy.
this guy.
Now they say basilisk for this one. I guess because he is a water lizard boy, but he's just a sea serpent.
He'll turn you to stone.
I
that's
don't know if Basilisk.
Yeah,
I just-
Basilisk does that too sometimes.
No, that's
But
correct. But
Basilisk's most thing is it's got communication eyes, but it's just.
I mean, he's got kind of that, lambent glow with his orbs, but yeah, no. I think it's just because he's a sea serpent, so he's kind of a water lizard that they said that.
Yeah. No, I like him.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Name is in Titus Flavius Vespianus. But yeah,
And,
no.
and in this kind of instance, with all of his fins, the shoulder pads don't look bad. They look like they fit because it's protecting his shoulder fins.
Yeah. His armor lines up. He's got pretty good scale design. I think the kind of like navy blue or sea blue and then the yellow actually works. His sword has a Tron line, but that's okay. But otherwise, again, this guy says has a lot of the same stuff we've been talking about other modern Glad Beasts, like cards that have come out in the last like 5 years. They stopped overcomplicating the designs and have kept them like pretty simple. There's still some tech stuff, glowing orbs, glowing lines, tubes, pipes, whatever, but he doesn't have like giant rocket boosters strapped to his ass or like have extra wings for no reason that also shoot missiles. He's just an armored guy.
Because if you think about it, when you think about when you think Gladiator, the first thing that comes to your mind is a simple
Yeah, a lot of those guys didn't wear a lot of armor. It was like, one big like arm pad or gauntlet and then like nothing, belt.
Yeah.
Shirts versus skins. Vespasius is a water sea serpent. He's level 7 for some reason. I'm not quite sure about that one. 2300 attack, 0 defense. At the start of the damage step, if your Gladiator Beast monster battles a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Vespasius once per turn. While you control this card, special summon by the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, all monsters you control gain 500 attack. So I guess that's what they're going for. He's not really a level 7 with 23. He's a level 7 with 28. But at the end of the battle phase of this card battled, you can special him back. So you can... He's kind of a battle trick effect, and he has the normal special summoning clause, and he's a pretty big guy. The 7 is a little hefty. I don't know if that plays into, like, some Xyz strategies that, whatchamacallit, Glad Beasts may have been trying out during those years, because, again, they, kept coming back. But this guy was a sneak peek card for Chaos Impact, so obviously a pretty big deal, and I think another decent addition, 500 attacks, nothing to sneeze at, because it puts this guy at 28. Makes some of your bosses pretty big. Makes Neurocleus, 33. I almost said 23. That's incorrect. 33. He's 28 already, so. But yeah, I think it's a decent one. Probably not enough to, like, clinch this deck in the time period, but good. Good card. Would run some of. Give you more bodies. All right, and then I believe this next one is our first link. No, there's another fusion. Okay. This is another one from Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. We have another fusion monster. And please give me that card art because I can't see shit. I regret seeing things. Okay, so this guy was printed as an Ultra only. He's only ever been printed in Battles of Legend Light's Revenge as an Ultra. So he's got a very dim printing you can't see. In Master Duel, you can see him clearly. I regret seeing him clearly. Look at this alien motherfucker. This xenomorph looking ass.
What the fuck? Like with the others, you could tell that they're an animal, but what the fuck is this meant to be? A type?
I think he's supposed to be like one of those like crested dinosaurs. Like that's what the Wikipedia doesn't think.
No,
like a hadrosaur.
I think it's a weird man dinosaur hybrid that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, he shouldn't. Because guess what, guys? Beast Warrior.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. 2 things. 1, banana head.
Yes.
Secondly, look at those heels.
Yes. No. There's a lot wrong with this picture. I'm very nettled right now.
It weirdly makes you think of U2 in like the weirdest fucking way possible.
Yeah, but it's also still very weird. But yeah, he's got like a weird beak head. He's got a banana skull.
And weird can shoulder things.
Yes.
So, College, you said the previous guy was Lizard Man at Home.
Or
This is
Cannon,
Lizard
right?
Man at Home.
Yeah. Just fucking. Jeez. I don't. Yeah, there's a lot that's wrong with this. And arguably even like the pink mist and the hot pink lines on his armor is just like, Jesus Christ, guy, calm down. What's even sillier is how this man is made. Because I said this is a fusion. So, Andabata, who, by the way, comes from the same root as Andal, Andadabata, the blindfolded gladiator. That's why his eyes are closed, I guess. I don't know. We ran out of names. We literally reused a name. He requires Augustus plus 2 more monsters. So this is a 3-mat fusion that requires a name, which is Augustus. Though obviously, I guess you can have a lot of substitute options. It is a level 8 Dark Beast Warrior with 1,000 attack, 2,800 defense. I guess we decided they needed a defense guy. It must be special summoned by shuffling those monsters back. You do not use polymerization. If summoned this way, you can special summon a level 7 or lower Glad Beast fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. At the end of the battle phase, if it battle, you can return it, special summon 2 Glad Beast monsters from your deck. So you don't even get 3 back, but you get 2. So I guess this is an interesting way to cheat out Geysirus and get the pop, but why would you not just make Geysirus? Like, obviously the mats are slightly different, but still, it's so weird. I cannot imagine this card is very popular. Both because he's ugly, but also because he's just so weird and niche. Like, I don't see what this requires. Yeah, he's also carrying the shield in kind of a reverse grip. That's not that weird. Gundams do that all the time. Not all the time, but some do. Yeah. That is a style of shield for that upper arm area. But no, this guy's too fucking tryhard, and I do not care for it. Get thee away from me.
Get the hence.
Oh, this was in the anime? No wonder he's so fucking doofy ass.
He does look like odd and kind of budgety. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, the fact that they added a tiny bit of armor to the tip of his, like, banana head just makes it look even more like a banana.
Yeah. So, we have another fusion monster. This one makes sense. You'll also probably remember this one because I believe this was the iconic one that is even the icon from the solo mode. This is Hold on, I gotta say it right. Dominatianus. There's an extra I in there. Possibly as in Titus Flavius Kaiser Domitius Augustus.
Is this
Also
a
known
little
as
lizard boy
Domitian.
from 2 cards
yes.
ago, but bigger?
Yes, this is Vespasius. He even requires him as one of his mats. So again, this is very similar to Heraklinos, obviously, right? Like he's just he's that guy, but he's roided out. He's got all the aquatic ones, arms and armor. Like he's got all the different armor types on him. He's got like tridents, axes, etc. It's pretty good. I feel like there's a little bit of a weird sense of scale with him.
I forget, was there a Glad Beast shield card? Because it looks like he's wearing that as a chest piece or something.
Yeah, I think there was a card like that, like an armor or something. I think he's wearing the chariot as like his middle bit, like right here.
Yeah.
He's got the net
chest.
here, the trident. I think that's his own sword there. He's got the pufferfish guy as like his neck guard because it's got the spikes on it.
He's got the little jet boosters on one side of his armor chest piece.
Yeah, no. So like, honestly, I think this one looks okay. Like it's, he's even got. I think that's some Neocleus there. Like, they're just taking the Heraklinos effect but applying it to the Sea Serpent boy. It works.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of detail hidden in there.
Getting that full Sentai. Okay, Medusa. Thank you. Am I think? Okay, hold on. Wait, it's Zenith Cordell. I have to double check.
I believe that is the name of one of theirs. No, I think it's Battle Archfiend Shield you're thinking of. Yes. Daemon's Shield. Yes, very clearly.
Yeah, there it is. Gladiator Beast Battle Archfiend Shield. Or whatever the fuck it's
Medusa
called.
Shield is a trap card from the anime that is not that.
Yeah. This guy heart is very busy.
Yeah, it's like Heraklinos. He's got a lot of extra equipment on him. I think it works because they've tried to scale him up a little.
Definitely has the Konami orbs.
Yeah, he's got a couple of orbs, but I think they're orbs that are stolen from other designs. Like he's wearing some.
From other people.
Yeah.
It's all right. I do feel like some of those could be simpler, but it is kind of neat to get these guys that you can tell these things.
It's one of the things of like if this man was like just not with everyone else's armor, but with simple armor, and when he was just roided up like this, it still looked pretty threatening.
Yeah. But obviously they have kind of an aesthetic they're going for. So,
Yeah.
Domitianus is a dark sea serpent, level 10. This is our biggest boy so far. 3,500 attack, 1,200 defense. Requires Vespasius and 2 Glad Beast monsters. Must first be special from your extra deck by shuffling. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, negate and destroy as a quick effect. You choose the attack targets for your opponent's attacks. At the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to the extra deck to summon 1 Glad Beast monster. So you don't get to tag out a lot, but Domitianus is definitely, this is a boss monster. He is a once per turn quick effect monster negate. And also, you get to pick your opponent's attack targets, so they can't even, like, softball your boys. If you have...
Good. I'm guessing you and I are going to say the similar thing of like, hey, I put this one card in the field that I don't want it to be shuffled away. You have it just not be attacked at all.
Well, the Gladiator Beast effects are all optional. They all say you can. What I was going to say is several of them have the ability not to be destroyed by battle. So you could make your opponent waste their attacks. Again, this was 2019. There was a big block of times during that period, like the 2020-ish era, where like the battle phase got really irrelevant. Lots of trap cards went out of style because they didn't matter, because your opponent just made lots of negates and stuff, like, or floodgated you out of it. So I think Domitianus kind of suffered from just not being relevant, but still I think has a lot of potential, like, especially considering Vespasius has a special summon condition. There's definitely some work you can do to, like, to do some real stuff with these guys. Like, there is real potential still in this deck. All right. Now it's time for the link, finally.
Yay.
There are a lot of fusions, but I got one more.
I think.
And then
People
how much
probably
more
remember this
Glad Beast do we have to go after that?
Just 2 more. Just 2 more cards.
Okay.
This took a lot less time than I thought, because there were definitely a lot of cards in the middle that were just like, yep, that's a Glad Beast. This is Gladiator Beast Dragases, as in Constantine the 11th, Dragasis Pelagios. So definitely kind of like an ending theme, you know, for being the Link one.
He's got... There's Link 2.
No, I said he is the Link one. He is a Link 2.
Okay.
But he is the Link Gladiator Beast, as
got
he is the
30.
only Gladiator Beast Link, actually, that there is a related Link monster.
Yeah. Still really important. He's got
So, good.
Dragon Quest, like warrior vibes of his armor and like the way it's shaped, honestly, to me.
Yeah, kind of. It's got that red and gold. Going back to that eagle theme, this one's very eagle-y.
Yeah.
It's all right. I think that's a little too big. Like, his shoulder pads are pretty big. His wings seem a little too big for his body. It's very bulbous, as the internet says. That shield is very dome-like. I don't really know a lot of shields that are actually like that, so that's a little weird. But it's not the worst. It's just maybe a little too much detail, a little too much pomp and circumstance, but certainly functional. So, Dragasis is another winged beast, Link 2. He's got 2k attack, which is pretty good for a Link 2. Any 2 Gladiator Beast monsters, though, yes, he is type locked. Probably why you don't see him much. If a Gladiator Beast monster you control attacks, it cannot be destroyed by that battle, and your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the damage step, so he gives all your Glad Beasts the Armades effect and makes them indestructible. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, you can return to your extra deck and special summon 2 Glad Beast monsters with different names from your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, obviously, Dragasis was... he came up in Cybernetic Horizon, you know. Still pretty early in the Link era. Obviously, this was meant to make Glad Beasts, who are a Contact Fusion deck, better with MR4. I don't think it was necessary, because you're not... Like, sometimes you can, but it's really hard to summon multiple Glad Beast fusions at once. So, you didn't really need the EMZ. But the fact that this guy's just basically another contact fusion, any two Glad Beasts become him, and he gives you battle protection so you can activate their effects better, which is really good. Remember, we talked about how a lot of useful Glad Beasts back in those first couple of waves had really dinky stats. And he makes you Armadas your opponent, which is pretty good. Yeah, the giant rock exists. But yeah, you're not really going to be doing too much that. But for an archetypal Link too, very good, very strong. Alrighty, and then we got another anime one. Mark mentioned it earlier. Now, you may think when you hear this card name that this is not actually a gladiator term, but it is. Oof. The anime first designs were not great to Glad Beasts. This is Gladiator Beast Tamer Editor. Editor is actually a gladiator term. Well, Linista was the owner and trainer of a team. The editor was like the director of a troop. You would coordinate the battles, basically playing roles like managers or other general behind-the-scenes decisions in like pro wrestling, right? Like editors would decide the programming and set up the fights. So, actually, is an on-theme name. Is the art on theme? I don't know.
I don't know, really.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got a laser beam staff, doing a fucking Nanaha-ass Divine Buster here. I guess he's got back antlers? Because I don't know where those antlers on his back are connected otherwise. That's weird. He's got a very pointy face for what is clearly supposed to be like a deer or a stag.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll loop the music again. Yeah, the editor could be like a coach as well. I kind of like the chains to the one Konami orb, but like the pose is really weird.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think actually the anime design, the anime screenshot looks a little better. Martha's just posted
yeah,
it. It's
they could put the thing is holding behind his back, so.
Well, also its spikes are not as complex; they're a little looser drawn. I feel like this is a case where low detail actually helps this out. Doing too much detail, you're like, hold on, what's going on here? How does this guy move without breaking all those horns?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's not the worst, but there's a lot of questions I have about this. As I itch my nose and go on about my business. I definitely say we'll have taken less time with no Dallas interruptions, but I feel like my voice is getting more tired because I'm doing most of the talking. For 2.5 hours. But, Beast Tamer Editor. This is a Dark Beast Warrior, level 8. 2400 attack, 3k defense. Interesting that both of the defensive ones come from the anime. 2 level 5 or higher Glad Beast monsters. This is also probably why Atarix works, because you can level fix as well. Must first be special summoned by shuffling back those monsters. Don't use poly. Can't be used as fusion material. Once again, very bad sign. Once per turn, special summon a Glad Beast fusion monster from your extra deck, except Beast Tamer, ignoring its summoning conditions. At the end of your battle phase, if your Gladiator Beast monster battled, you can shuffle that monster back into your deck or extra deck to special summon one Glad Beast from your deck. So, in general, other than the fact that you can't use it to further fusion, I think Tamer Editor is a decent one. I can definitely see why. This makes me see why Dragasis was necessary. That came out about a year after this. With Tamer Editor, there is obviously a strategy to having multiple fusions on the board, right? Because it lets you also cheat out Geyserus, and even some of your other boys can be cheated out this way, which is cool. Lets you get some interesting effects out.
It's like what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Like, he can't be used as fusion material, but he does a dumb effect, which is good, which is he cheats out fusion monsters.
And he's got 3k defense, so, like, you can sit on it. I think the main thing is just the fact that you need 2 level 5 or highers. With
Yeah.
Noxious, that's not too hard because that guy summons himself. And Asterix, it's a weird tech. I would probably consider playing like 1 or 2 just because it gives you a way to like instantly access Geyserist pops or get out your, Dominatus and stuff. Very spicy. Hell, even Heraklinos, which is a spell trap negate, and he lets you shuffle them back even though they, haven't been summoned properly and stuff. So it's okay. It's not the most optimal, but I think it's a decent piece of tech in your business. And once again, a shame that it's a weird card art. And now I believe our final card, because unfortunately I do not. I mean, other than the Rhoda and the draw 2, I don't really know what spells we could bring up that are good. They have like a War Chariot is like an Omni Negate, so that's decent. But I don't want to like fish through all of them to add some extra time. I think I'll be good with 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But this card also came out in Chaos Impact. It's another test one. It's Test Panther. It's a panther.
Yeah.
Like this is Test Tiger, but he's a panther. It's not really that complex. Panthers are cool.
Right. Wasn't there a Panther in the Jungle Book story original?
There's a
This
Black
looks
Panther.
like that because there was a Black Panther in that, I think.
It's a little bit like that. So Test Panther is a Earth Beast Link 2. 2 monsters, including a Glad Beast monster. So unlike Dragosis, it's just 1 Glad Beast you need. So that also works with test monsters and other shit. Hey, this means, by the way, you can make this off Test Tiger. Do you get it? If this card is linked summoned, add a Glad Beast from your deck to your hand. Glad Beast card, I should say. So this actually lets you search spell traps as well. You can target a Glad Beast monster you control, shuffle that back in your deck, and if you do special summon a Glad Beast with a different original name in your deck, this is treated as a special summon Glad Beast effect. You only use this effect to Test Panther once per turn. So, yeah, Test Panther is just Tiger, but better. He gives you another Link 2. He lets you shuffle back your boys in your main phase. He lets you add a card, any card, including their spell traps. Now, the main thing is he's a Link 2 with only 800 attack. So, very unlikely that, unlike Dragosis, this guy will live through anything. But hypothetically, you could probably do some Link climbing with him. And just in general, I think it's an all-right card. Your extra deck with Glad Beasts these days is probably looking pretty full, but I could see running, 1 or 2, because it combos so well with Test Tiger. I don't know if I would run the full 3, because it's kind of a starter, but there are a lot of, you could just get the same effect by just making Test Tiger these days anyway. If you were playing an MR4, I'd say I'd play the full 3, because this just, again, gives you 2 extra Link zones you can fusion summon to. In MR5 formats, when you don't need those extra Link zones, I don't know, like I said, if I would go max out on the 3. But yes, Glad Beasts do have a fun revolving door mechanic. And that is it. Chaos Impact, which was late 2019, was the last time Glad Beasts got any support. Which is very interesting, because there have been some waves of GX nostalgia, and arguably, this year especially, we've even gone through quite a few extra ones as well, with both Darkwing Blast being very obviously themed on Blackwings, and probably bringing Blackwings back to, Tier 3 or Tier 2. You're probably not going to beat the oppressive tier meta, but they exist. And Photon Hypernova has, among other things, quite a bit of Photon support. Duh. But I would not be surprised if we weren't due for another wave, because it's been, 3 or 4 years. So, could totally see some of these guys showing back up. Like I said, there is a large volume of both directly and indirectly related spell traps. But we've been going for almost 3 hours. Sorry, excuse me. Creeping up on me.
Yeah, I probably need to get going that'll wake up early, so.
Yeah, it's almost midnight. Like I said,
Yeah.
had a very solid 2 3/4 hours. We covered all the Glad Beasts. So glad y'all tuned in. Love it when you see it. Let me see. Let me go ahead and check what our next solo mode will be. Also, let me blow my nose. Hold on. Sorry about that. Got some gooey stuff. Yes, if you haven't logged in FGO, log in FGO. So, sick. It's another fun one. Next up, Karakuri.
Those are at least cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting deck, which did have some competitive play back in the day and has some very interesting cards. So we're gonna be shifting from the GX era to the Synchro era. So I hope you guys will enjoy that one. Hopefully that'll be next week. Dallas says he should be back, so we'll see what's up. As usual, I will do our usual outro spiel. You know, obviously, thank you so much for watching this. And if you came to the stream late, go ahead and roll back. You can watch the whole of it. On Monday, we started our playthrough of Plague's Tale Requiem. That went for about 3 hours. Lucky is in the driver's seat. Go check that one out for more rats. And also lots of fire. Fire and rats, our mainstays. Our main 2 exports. But it was a fun time. We cut it a little short because Lucky had some internet connectivity issues with the stream in the middle. So we decided to play it safe. But we got some good stuff done. And stay tuned tomorrow for probably more Final Fantasy XIV. Pretty sure that'll be down to Clown. Don't think there's anything else that'll interrupt. Well, actually, I don't... I have to double-check when the stream starts for FGO. Depending on when that is, we may have to take a break, do some live reacting or something. Or maybe I'll start after that. I don't know. There'll be a maintenance anyway. But hey, also, if you're interested in our FGO content, for our patrons, our 5 and Up patrons, I have posted Wanted Nemo. It is out already. Full-ass day, technically like 2 days ahead. See, right now, if you support us on Patreon at the 5 and Up level, you can go ahead and watch it right away. And that episode will be out probably whenever that maintenance starts. If you're curious, if you're one of those people watching who cares, the Van Gogh one will probably be in about a week because I want to avoid outright just spoiling the entire fucking event right away.
And then
But-
you can find them.
Go watch both of those videos, please, when they come out. I would greatly appreciate it. Did a lot of work on the research section for the Nemo one, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I think that's all of our usual promo. Watch Let's Suck FGO, What's Up, all that fun stuff, and keep up with our streams. Make sure that you give us a like if you like this video. I see there's 8 viewers left still paying attention, and there's only 4 likes, so, schlacking. So, throw some vibes there. Make sure to sub if you haven't already. As much as I would hate to ruin our beautiful 69, yes, more subs. Make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you always get more videos. You can leave comments. You can join our Discord. You can also support our channel through memberships. We are coming up close to the end of the month, and we could use a little bit of an extra cash infusion so we could get some extra juice in there. So consider dropping us some membership or giving us some super chats. I'm so sorry Dallas wasn't here for you to yell at him. I'm so sad. I'm sure he would have had a dumb take about something we said you could have yelled at him about. But yeah, I it is a little bit of a leaner month with some of the views and the ad rev, so I'd appreciate your extra effort in the coming days. Make sure to tell your friends about Failed Portrayal. It's cool. So, check them out. Yeah, I think it's on my... No. Well, I guess I technically already did the Patreon thing. Yeah, so support us on Patreon as well for other stuff. That, I think, is everything.
Yep. I hope you all were entertained.
Yes. Are you not entertained? Do you get it? It's from Gladiator. I make many, many timely references. All right, guys, I'm going to go before I have to make another timely reference. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Hope to see you tomorrow, whatever we're doing that day with those people and that stuff. And have a good evening. Good night, everybody.
See ya.